Alright folks, Chasing Truth is on the air across the board with Chasing Truth over on the Paranormal Radio app and the Darkwaters channel, and Chasing the Truth Sean G YouTube channel. Hey folks, how you guys doing? Hope that you've had a great Monday, and if you hadn't checked out, I think Lakea and of All Nightmares has already dipped into this pond. We have a Cryptid Christmas to announce. Darkwaters family of shows is about ready to do a whole lot of prize giving away. Dogmancams 1 month subscription for free across the board for 1 month. Hold on just a second. Let me get the actual rules up before we start saying a whole lot about it. And let me get that up here. Let me get this. Where the heck did I put that thing? Aha! Here we go. Right. Rules for a Cryptid Christmas. Let me get this thing started here and get that audio off. Yeah, I got that audio off. Alright. And videos need to drop December 1st, which is anytime after midnight. So today is December 1st. The rules are starting the 1st, December 2021, on any video by said channels listed below with the title Cryptid Christmas, subscribers must be subscribed, like, and leave a comment. We will choose 7 winners total from each channel on December 11th from the comments left on each video titled A Cryptid Christmas. 2 of those winners will win a cup. 5 of those winners will win 1 free month subscription to Dogmancams.com. The drawing will be on December 11th, and with the winners announced on December 12th. Winners can only win once. Remember that, only win once. If 2 channels draw the same name, then 1 channel must draw again. All winners will be added to a total list so the Darkwaters can announce them on his channel for the results. Do the math. Total winners across all channels. 16 mugs will be given out. 40 free Dogmancam subscriptions for 1 month will be given out. And the channels, got a pencil here, which you can look at this in the description with all the links to them. Darkwaters, The Vault of Nightmares, my channel Sean G, Chasing the Truth, Dogmancams with DDoS, The Lakea Show, Chaos Theory Productions, and Impromptu Truth, and then Thaddeus Cray. You got to subscribe to all those channels. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. But all the rules and stuff are in the description. So, hey, what's going on, folks? What's happening here? Let me get this chat rolling up here. Let's see, Santa Dim Lady. That's an interesting name. Look, hey, what's going on, Wig? Let's see, Z-Wiki. Thanks for the tip donation. There was another donation. Hold on just a second. Let me get, what the heck was hold on just a second. Let me get my phone out. Well, I was on the right thing there. Give me just a second. Get this thing here and see what, when, and where, how this happened. No, that's not it. Lemons. I'll have to look it up here in a little bit. But tonight is Supernatural open lines, unscreened open lines. I'll only screen them when you come on and say, howdy do, my name is so-and-so, and you're from where? So, the caller-inner line is 931-994-6917. Let me make sure I got all that straightened out on the board here. Yeah, we're ready. And according to, wait a minute, turn this block on. Why in the world is that? Okay, so now we're, for whatever reason, I had that block turned off. I apologize for the Darkwaters radio channel. Unfortunately, I just turned you guys on. So, Darkwaters radio channel, you are now live on the air. This is Chasing the Truth with Sean G. And I just announced a Cryptid Christmas starting today through the 11th. And I'll announce re-announce the rules and regs and all that kind of stuff here in a little bit. But how do? Happy hour, what's up? Dark Woods, Lee Smith, Judy, what's up? William, Tony, the one-man band is in the house, man pretty. And Eddie, Red Rider, Let's see who else. Do I have anybody else in here that Edward Kung Fu Mashburn? I like that screen name. God bless y'all. And Admia Thoria. She caught, I believe she caught the One-Eyed Willie earlier today, about 6 o'clock. What the heck's going on? He likes to peekaboo at 6 o'clock, I guess. But, again, tonight is unscreened, supernatural. Topic is your topic, whatever you want to talk about, 931-994-6917. And I hope you like the Bigfoot Cryptid Christmas thing that I've got going on there. But, yeah, let's jump over here and see what's going on with everybody. Let's see, we've got that unscreened caller line is flashing. Cool. All right. Cryptid Christmas, my first one. Well, hey, Shell, what's up? Yep, got the, I think Lakea and Vault's got something similar. They got a Bigfoot on theirs with a little bit of Christmas something or other. I found one with a Christmas tree tied around him with a hat on, so I said, why the heck not? We'll just put him running around in the woods a little bit. Throw up the chat here. See what's going on. I like that someone every night in the Darkwaters family does a live stream. Well, actually, this is my, since Sunday? This is my third one. Not counting the one I was on yesterday, or was on to yesterday. I was a guest on the Mallard Report, Jim Mallard, Mallard.com. I was on his show for an hour. And we talked about just about everything from cryptids to near-death experiences. How you cram all that stuff in 1 hour, I don't know, but we did. So, the one on my channel has gold stars and sounds like an elf talking. Okay, well, I haven't figured out what this thing ain't said anything yet. Must be infrasound, as far as I can see there, Lakea. But, we'll look at the Vault of Nightmares Vault 1 camera a little later on in the show. We're going to cut back how much I actually do a preview, a free view of that to about 20 minutes a show. So just to give you a heads up, we're not going to do the marathon stuff I have done in the past. But we're going to do about a 20-minute look-see in the backyard of the Lakea and the Vault of Nightmares backyard. Give me just a second. Got to get a sip of this medium dark roast. Man, Freddy's got a gallon of what? All right. Well, I hope that you got. Hope you got a clear path to the bathroom there, man, Freddy. That's all I can say. But holy cow, a gallon of coffee. Yeah, buddy. Anyway, let's see. Now, tonight what we're going to be talking about is obviously a Cryptid Christmas. And we've got a few free 1 month subscriptions to give away, or Darkwaters will be given away on the 12th. But you've got to subscribe to a bunch of channels. And hold on just a second. Let me get that list back out. I got the list somewhere. Just a second. Aha, here we go. Where's that list at? Okay, Darkwaters channel, you got to be subscribed to there. Vault of Nightmares, you got to subscribe to that one. My channel, Chasing Truth Sean G. Dogmancams with DDoS, The Lakea Show, Chaos Theory, and Impromptu Truth, Thaddeus Cray. All of those channels you got to be subscribed to. Like and comment on each one of their shows that has a Cryptid Christmas in the title. What was my first encounter? Let's see. When I showed the cam, I'll show the cam. Santa, I'll show the cam later on in the show, but they're about ready to launch some more cams and stuff, so we'll see what happens after that. I think by Saturday or Sunday they'll have a second cam up, and then shortly after that a few more cams will pop online. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll definitely have the 20-minute look-see into the old Vault of Nightmares backyard. Maybe we'll get a one-eyed Willie or find something else running around their backyard. But there you go. Let's see, my first encounter. Are we talking about UFO, ghosts, demonic, or what? I have not had an encounter with a Bigfoot. I've talked to a lot of people. I've had Bigfoot sightings and Dogman sightings. When I was a kid, um, the woods behind my house on the side of a mountain, which is about 3 miles from here, had all kinds of signs of Squatch. I was on the side of that mountain, and you'd find 2 or 3 year old trees pulled up by the root ball, thrown up into bigger trees. And I kind of scratched my head and said, "Well, what in the heck's that?" Look around and like, no, there's no clear cutting around here. Which, of course, on the side of a mountain, there was no trail going in or out. There's deer trail and maybe a bear track or something like that up there, but I never really thought anything of it. Then, one year, my dad, late in the season, anyway, I told my dad I heard this baby crying up in the holler. And that baby cry was curious because there was nobody up in that holler at all. The only thing up through there that could make it cry, I had no clue. Told my dad the next day. He said, it was probably a bobcat. Don't worry about it. Well, then, a little later on, I think it was the year after or whatever, my dad said, "Hey, don't go up in that holler," which, now that I think about it, that was the same holler I heard that baby crying from. And then there was a still or something up through there that I later found out or surmised that there was a still, white lightning still up through there. So you never know what's going on there. So that would probably be, if that was an encounter with a Bigfoot, that was the closest one I had. But, oh yeah. Channels to sub and comment at Cryptid Christmas, Darkwaters Volunteer. Yeah, there you go. That's the one, Lakea. I've got all that in the description of this live stream. Please like and share and send this out to wherever your socials are, your favorite social media platforms. And, yeah. First UFO I saw was probably when I was 20-something. My late brother and I was up on a mountainside here in Southwest Virginia. And we were up there drinking, I think, either Jim Beam or maybe Jim Beam. We stayed the night there, and we was drinking a little bit of whiskey. And next thing I know, there was something up in the air floating around a tower. About 4 or 5 lights, I think there was 5, and they were going clockwise around this tower up there. And then it would spin around and then zoom off into the night air and then zoom back around the top of this tower. It did it for a while. So maybe that was my first UFO. Second UFO that I remember was right over top of my house. One of those TR-3Bs was around my house. And I got a good long look-see at that thing, about 5 minutes or so. Totally silent. 3 tip lights of a triangle formation with a red, funny-looking strobe in the middle. Totally silent, and I actually have that. I reported that to, let's see, UFOreportingcenter.net, I think. But anyway, again, if you want to call in, tell us your story, whatever you feel like you need to tell. 931-994-6917 is the number. Or if you're off the continent of the United States and you can't readily call a United States number, if you've got Skype, look up Chasing the Truth 2018. One big, long, alphanumeric spaghetti word. Chasing the Truth 2018. So, oh yeah, tomorrow. Oh, okay, this is probably for your Teespring store too. I got an email. Tomorrow for December 2nd, let's see, hold on just a second. Let me go back here and look. There is a 15% off t-shirt t-shirt tomorrow on December 2nd on Teesprings. And what is that? Oh crap, no, I don't need that. Why the heck is all that going on like that? Maybe it's this. T-shirt. Nope, that's not it. Well, dogs. I forgot to... Oh, yeah, here it is. If you input all caps Holiday 15 tomorrow, December 2nd, this Thursday, fans get 15% off of everything in the store with this code Holiday 15. And that's good for anything. So you can get the link. Hold on just a second. Let me get my link here for you. That. Yeah, I got a few things in there. A couple T-shirts and a hoodie and a couple coffee cups and drink cups and stuff like that. So, and a couple of them's holiday themed anyway. Holiday 15 for tomorrow, December 2nd. Holiday 15, all one big capital letter and the alpha numeric 15. So, and of course, look at, greetings. What's up, Razor? God bless you, brother. Always good to see you running about there. Hey, Charles. Let's see, who else has popped in here? Richard, Red Raider, Stacy. Yeah, I think that's about all the new fellas and ladies. So, have you heard any weird sightings here lately? Bigfoot, Dogman, ghost sightings? Who knows? Wait a minute, I just got something. Somebody just did another tip for me. Let me get this in here. Where is this at? Oh, hello. Hey, ZWiki. Well, thank you. Thank you for that tip. I appreciate that, ZWiki. I appreciate that tip to Chasing the Truth. That definitely paid for the internet for this month. Appreciate that. Gotta keep me on the air at least here. But yeah, buddy. All right. Well, let's see. I was on the Mallard Report last night, and then I jumped over on the Mogollon Monsters thing for a little bit, and I just, I got on there, and all of a sudden I just lost my wind. I was like, I can't think of anything to talk about, so I jumped off there. Maybe I just did one too many shows in a row, I guess. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, let's see. I think Vault is going to install a new camera. Is it going to be in ZWiki Woods, Lakea, or how's that going to be? And I think there's another set of woods that they just named, and I forgot what the name was. It just slipped out of my head. But there's another set of woods that they're going to have access to an old abandoned school, I think. That's going to be interesting. See all those haints and haunts and whatever hangs around that thing. But yeah, buddy. All right, so since nobody's calling in, let's go and see what we've got going over on, let's see, Safari, what I've got up here. Oh, yeah, here's my Teespring store. Again, tomorrow, Holiday 15. If you input that tomorrow, December 2nd, you will get 15% off of everything in the store. So, Holiday 15. I've got T-shirts, got hoodies, got ladies' T-shirts, and then I've got the premium tee there. It comes in all kinds of tasty flavor colors. And then I've got the mugs, the wine mug, wine tumbler, and then we've got the stainless steel mug. I think ZWiki actually bought one of those for her truck. And then I've got the same thing for holiday. If you look at this. Of course, that's in my Teespring store. And all those proceeds and stuff helps keep this thing up. One Man Band, thank you for that donation tip. Appreciate that. Holy cow. 'Tis the season to be the spirit of the holiday giving is in the air. And I appreciate you tipping me, both ZWiki and One Man Band Tony. Appreciate all that stuff. That helps along quite a bit. You never know. This stuff ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. It ain't free for sure. You know, got to pay the internet something. So there you go. But there you go. If you want to hop over here and get on board, and at least you can have something in your hand. Again, tomorrow, December 2nd, this is my link to my Teespring store. Tomorrow, December 2nd, if you input Holiday 15, you get 15% off of everything over on over there on Teesprings, teesprings.com. So there's you a little something, something. Hello, Liz. What's going on? Chica. Good to see you. Let's see. 931-994-6917, and let's go back over here to, let's go check on what Lon Strickler is doing over on his, let's see, yeah, Flipboard Stories. There we go. Let's go over here and check on the cryptid pages over here and see what they got. Yeah, cryptozoology. See what's going on over here. We got Noble Magazine. I've never heard of that particular one. Why is there no such thing as pristine nature? Probably, I don't know. It just depends on where you're at. Unless you're in some Western country, like over in Europe or whatever, they've got people all over. Oh my! Johnson City, Tennessee. This is exactly where I used to work and live. Where the heck this? Johnson City, Tennessee. I was relaxing at the Collision Brewing Company in Cleveland near Lake Erie. Wait a minute, that's Johnson City. How's it like? Well, so a resident of Johnson City, Tennessee. On the patio of my girlfriend Tiara, I looked at the water, watching boaters and a small crawler appearing to cast their lures. A warm sun dancing across the ripples of the Cayuga River and drifting down the lake. And when I noticed a right shadow that appeared under the surface, it moved slowly but steadily, like a troll crossing the road. It was rather large, maybe the size of a kayak, but bigger than a large trout. I glanced away momentarily, and then I returned my gaze. It was gone. That's interesting. I was vexed and maybe tad unsettled, but still curious. There were clouds in the sky. Well, this guy doesn't speak like he's from Northeast Tennessee, I can tell you that. People from Northeast Tennessee sounds like me. I lived most of my adult life over there. So there were clouds in the sky. Could it have been a passing cloud overhead? Sure. Could have been a giant oversized sea lamprey prowling on a neighborhood dog or cat. Maybe the unknown is an imagination grabber, and maybe started to spin and made my mind start to spin. If you hang around Lake Erie enough, you'll hear things, rumors, gossips, old pirate tales, and strange anomalies in the water of the lake. Have you guys ever been to Lake Erie or one of the Great Lakes and saw anything weird? That's interesting, to say the least. But Johnson City, do I know that guy? Greg Evans, writer and associate director of communications at the King University of Bristol, Tennessee. I know where King University is, so that's probably the reason why. He's got that rather colorful language. But that's interesting. Podcast International Cryptozoology, what is that, museum? Yeah. And here is Phantoms and Monsters. My friend, Lon Strickler. Phantoms and Monsters, Pulse of the Paranormal. Decades of interesting paranormal, supernatural, you name it, news, cryptids, possible skunk ape encountered along the Alafia River. I hope I pronounced that right, correctly. Alafia. In Florida. A group of friends camping along the Alafia River in Hillsborough County, Florida, the night that experienced loud footfalls and crashing in the bush. Was it a skunk ape? Well, I guess if it was smelly, probably. But there you go. Flat Rock, what's going on, brother? Shadow. Nunya. I like that. Nunya. That's cool. That's cool, Nick. I like that one. Keep all my business, Nunya. So, a skunk ape sighting in, let's see. Where's that? Alafia River, Florida. And when did this particular event occur? Does not say. Anyway, there you go. Skunk ape. Let's see. Apparently happened between 11 and 3 a.m. Interesting, but there you go. Fansofmonsters.com, Lon Strickler's repository of everything that is odd, unknown, unexplained. Illinois' Glimmer Man. Hey, I actually talked about that last night. That's interesting. Entity encounters recalled. Okay, Illinois woman recalls her early and later encounters with a Glimmer Man entity. Has anybody seen a Glimmer Man? I actually talked about that. That was one of I was asked what the strangest thing I've heard lately about cryptids was on Mallard Report last night. And I said, the Glimmer Man. And voila, here we're talking about it. Synchronicity, folks. Synchronicity. So, her description was a parallel to the Predator, alien in the film series. Have you heard or had a similar encounter? I recently came across the following accounts. This is 100% true and is really hard for me to share because anytime I have tried to tell someone else about it, I get laughed at and accused of just trying to pull their leg. I recently seen an article about a woman who was hunting and seen an invisible cloaked creature, and she described it as almost like a predator from the movie of the same name, not nature. I read her story and seen the picture. She said she took of said predator. I am not dismissing her story. Actually, quite the opposite, since I too have encountered some similar, and it is what prompted me to seek out if anyone else has encountered a predator in the woods. Now on to my encounter. Wow, okay. When I was about 5 years old, I was playing the edge of the woods behind my grandmother's house. Well, that sounds about my encounter so far. What I did when I was 5 years old, I played there often, and my grandma just kept an eye on me from the kitchen or living room because the house had such a huge window and faced the woods. She would come out there every once in a while and just to see what I was up to. I was obsessed with digging in the dirt and collecting unusual rocks and arrowheads and littered the land where my grandmother lived. I should mention the southern Illinois, not too far from Chahokee Mountains. Didn't we just read something about the Chahokee River? Well, I guess that's pretty close. So finding arrowheads was actually not that uncommon. Well, around these parts, you could go toward most of the creeks and find arrowheads. That's a crazy thing. Some Sasquatch climber. Well, they get that filament hair makeup where the middle of the shaft is vacant, and they think that that's the reason why they can cloak, or seem to be cloaking. Anyway, that day I remember picking up a spot to dig. I had been out there for quite a while. Maybe I remember I had a pretty decent sized hole going on when something caught my eye. Up in the tree that I was next to. I almost don't know how to explain it, but it looked like a heat wave coming off the branch of the tree. It was a fall. I remember this because I had my pink jacket on and remember thinking that my mom was going to be pissed because I had dirt around the bottom of my arms from digging. I also remember that there were a lot of leaves on the ground. Well, there you go. Heat wave. Look, hey, didn't we have a guy call in about a dark orb in the sky above a town in, I think, Middle Tennessee that had heat waves coming from it? And that's the reason why we come up with the CERN thing. Hey, the vault. What's going on? The Vault of Nightmares. Let's see. Heat wave. Realize that it's human-shaped. So here I am, 5 years old, and wondering why there's an invisible man in the tree. I remember feeling scared but unsure what to do. Then it started moving and making a faint clicking sound. That is about the time that I decided that I was not supposed to be seeing this. Uh-oh, we've got the Vault of Nightmares on the horn here. Give me just a second, Vault, and get you on here. All right, brother, you are on the air. What's up?
What's going on?
I just read an encounter on Lon Strickler's Phantoms and Monsters about the Glimmer Man.
I can't remember. It's been so many months back. You remember I did a show where I was talking about a lady. It was after, it was a couple hurricanes ago. I have to go back and look it up exactly what hurricane it was, but I got called out to a lady's property, and she had went down there. She was cleaning up after the hurricane. It was just windstorms back up this way. Mm-hmm. Well, I got called out there because she was out there cleaning up, and she noticed there was this. She thought it was a piece of cellophane hung in like bushes or something, because she said that's what it looked like. It looked like you were trying to look through cellophane. And she walked up closer to it because she was going to grab it. It ran away from her, ran and went up in a tree and jumped, and just started looking at her. And the way she described it was, she goes, "You remember that old 80s movie that had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it?"
Yeah, The Predator.
The Predator. She said that's exactly the way this thing looked. But she said the way she described it, it looked like you were trying to look through something through cellophane. And she said that thing hit the tree, went up the tree, went through the bush. She said she lost it. And like I said, she called me out there. Well, she didn't call me out there at first. She had called a couple other people, and they put her in touch with me. And I went out there. I didn't know what to expect. That's the only what I call predator type thing that I've ever went out. She said it never, was solid matter. She said it was the whole time. It was like she was looking through cellophane. Wow. But she said it had a humanoid shape to it, but it was tall, but it was thin.
That sounds pretty close to what this Lon Strickler Phantoms and Monsters encounter appears to be. So, I've heard other anecdotal stories that pretty much well matches up with your story and this one that's on Phantoms and Monsters. So, who the hell knows, man? There's a whole lot of strange out there. Could that be what's going to happen in your backyard, that you've got one of those things haunting the back?
I don't know. I know not too long ago I was out there, and I was out there with Dark, and I was testing out that new IR light. And like I said, for people who don't know, you can't see that thing with your naked eye. So at first I was trying to point it where he wanted me to point it, but I wasn't looking at nothing, so I couldn't tell. I was like, "Well, you're a dummy. Pull out your phone and pull up the camera." And so I did that, and I've got the light right over the top of the camera, holding it there. That way I can tell where I'm moving it to. Mm-hmm. And there was just one area. He goes, "Put it right there. There's something right there." I said, "I'm pointing it there, but it's the damn light's not showing up on the phone on the camera. It's like there's something in between me and the light, because I could go just a little bit one way, and the light then would go to the woods where I'm trying to get it to, and I could go back again." And it was like the light went away, because I'm like, "What in the hell's going on?" And later on at night, I was like, "Dark, did you ever realize, go look at the video?" Because I was videoing it. I said, "Go look at the video. You can see the light where it goes in front of I thought I was in front of the tree. I mean, and blocking it out. So I moved way out away from everything. It would still do it. But it was like it would be something there that the light wouldn't pass through, but it wasn't shining on it. It wasn't illuminating it. You could go to the left of it, it would do it. You could go to the right of it and do it. I can't tell you what did that or anything else. And I'm like, dude, I guess I just couldn't put it on the right spot. But that was what was odd. You could move that light straight across, and it would just the beam would disappear in this one section.
That is crazy. Now, was it about 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were both on the camera and Cobra went out there and there was some kind of illuminated thing and he walked over top of it and blocked it out and all this other stuff?
That was right after that. Matter of fact, that was right after. That was a couple of days after that. We still have it. That ain't came back, and it ain't done it since then. And you were on there and seeing that. I cannot. I don't understand that. I can't make sense out of it. I can't. We tried to disprove
honestly,
it while we were
I
on
can't make any sense out of it. Your son walked right through it, walked over and blocked out that light, and I'm like, well, he should have tripped over that son of a bitch.
Yeah, and he's got a light pointed all around on the ground. He's like, "There's nothing," because I was on a walkie-talkie with him. Remember, he's like, "There's nothing here."
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Uh, uh, that's one
Yeah.
chalk it up to one of those things that I don't understand. We tried to debunk it, tried to figure it out, and I don't know. I said that was one of those oddities that I don't know.
Well, that'd be one of those things I would fear that lead wouldn't bother this thing, whatever that was your son going through.
And yeah, and a lot of people say you can't. You let your. Y'all don't understand. He goes out. He's as bad as I am. He is not scared of these things. He goes out there all the time, day, night, whatever. And for some reason now they will growl at him or whatever. And he'll just
Uh-huh.
back up and get away from him. But like I said, but he's grown up with me in the woods and everything, so he knows if something growls or whatever at him, stop doing what you're doing and back up. But like I said,
Well,
and you know,
my dad did the similar
go
thing
ahead.
when he was teaching me how to hunt. He said, first thing you need to watch is for bear tracks or something big in the, that doesn't look human. He said, if you see something like that in whichever direction they're pointed, stop, look around, and then backtrack.
Yep. And so that makes me think your dad knew more what was going on than what he led on to, because how many old people, that's the way they taught us back then. You know.
Well, that's all I can tell you. That's what my dad said. I can I remember. I might have said this story on you. I can remember when I was 4 or 5 years old, and Dad put a 410 shotgun on my shoulder, put me on the stump. He said, "Now hold this real tight because it's going to kick," and it kicked me off the freaking stump. A 410.
Yeah, but you were a little bitty damn thing. I'm
Yeah.
surprised you could hold it up.
I was a pretty good guy size kid. I'm like 6'2", 6'3" on my right side. The left side's about a foot and a half shorter because of the leg thing.
Shit. Uh,
Yeah, but
but
other than that, yeah. But my dad, he was keen on that. He said, if you see anything with not a human print, and he was adamant. He's like, I said, what kind of non-human print? Big or not Bigfoot? He didn't say anything about Bigfoot. My grandmother and grandfather always talked about boogers here in around the area. But he said, whichever way they're pointing, make sure you look around and make sure there's nothing around you. And then backtrack. You don't want to get near. He said, well, for one, if there is a bear around and they got little cubs, she's not going to give you any quarter. She'll run right at
nope.
you and take you.
Yep, and she'll chase you and chase you up a tree. Climbing trees and stuff don't work in that situation, so they'll come right up after you. Uh,
Oh yeah.
but I heard that, and I was over on another channel just a minute ago talking to them and stuff, and somebody that I'm hoping that we can start doing some work with, and I'm not going to mention her name because I don't have permission to mention her name, but I'll tell you later on who it is. And
Okay. That's cool.
he had an interest. The reason why I'm going you to go listen. This is a story that I've never heard of before, and like I said, as soon as I get permission, I can talk. Because I would love to get this guy over on your show or my show, but I've never heard a story like he told tonight. It's the craziest damn thing I ever heard. And there's a couple of people in chat that I know that were just over there because I seen on Flat Rock. If you want to tell them where it was, that way I can't get in trouble. Hey.
There's always ways around divulging information.
Yeah, I'm very good. Look, I believe in rules, but I also believe you can push them to the point without breaking them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, what has everybody thought so far about what me and Lakeia let loose last night with the Cryptid Christmas? I know a lot of people are like, I want the mug. And see, I hadn't got a chance to call you today to talk to you about that, but Big Brother wanted me to call you and ask you if, since you're so good with the graphics and stuff.
Since I'm so good with the graphics.
Yeah. I guess you've been designated as a graphics designer.
Oh well, I put one that's up on the thing right now with a cryptid and a cryptid Christmas with a Santa Claus looking Bigfoot. That's on the screen right now.
Hold on a second. I can't see. I'm stupid. I got my computer right in front of me. It takes me about 3 seconds to.
Pull that up on that 50-inch screen there, brother.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that.
I got that.
And now I can see
well, I can share that out as a. It's got an invisible background. If anybody wants to use that in the family, if that's what they want to use. I can change the lettering or whatever. That's not a problem.
Well, I think what they were wanting was some kind of design, something like that, right there with all of our names on it, on the mug. That way, and like I told everybody, once these mugs are given away, that's the only way they're going to be able to get them. Is through this giveaway.
I got a template for the mug. I'll look at that and try to put something together and see what happens. All you have to do is make it and then just put it in the Teespring store.
Well, like I said, I think it's going to be fun. And like I said, everybody remember, you got to be subscribed to Sean. You got to be subscribed to me. You got to be subscribed to you got to be subscribed to all of us. And because you got to you got to be subscribed, like, and comment. And on mine, I had them put in a Cryptid Christmas. That way, every one of them that's been doing that, I've been writing their names down, and I hadn't figured out how we're going to do this drawing, but we're going to do a drawing, like on my channel, and then do one for your channel, and that way, everybody gets a turn at it. And if they're picked, they don't get that disqualifies them from the rest of the channels, because there's only going to be so many mugs. And Lakea, if you're in here, I think I'm telling people right. If I'm telling you wrong, it's Lakea's fault because she didn't correct me.
How does she get a hold of you to correct you real quick? Does she slap you or throw something at you or what?
Usually it's vault. I can't believe it. I'm like, what? I didn't do it. That's actually I always start with I didn't do it. I don't care if I did do it. I didn't do it. So denial.
Denial. Okay,
yeah, she's in here. Well, you never admit to nothing. Do you have evidence? Do you have pictures? I'm like the elusive Bigfoot. Do you have pictures? Oh, that's blurry. That could be anything. That's not me.
Yeah, buddy. There you go.
Well, I said I think it's going to be fun, and something else. Like after your show, I'm going to be putting one up, and I got another. I've got a giveaway that I'm working with somebody else on, and they'll find. You got to go to the show to be listening, like to understand, because I ain't even told Lakea about this one yet. See, she's gonna get on to me about this.
Oh my! Is this going to be on the Roxanne level of? She's going to get on to you about it?
No, just because I didn't talk to her about it yet. Like I said, this ain't nothing. This ain't got nothing. This has nothing to do with me, but it does.
It does, but okay, all right. Oh, that sounds pretty cryptid.
I'm not the one giving. I'm not the one giving it away. I'm just sponsoring it on my channel that they're giving it away.
Okay, so what are you giving away? Since you've divulged that much.
They're going to be giving away a shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it's a shirt. It may be shirts. I don't know yet because he's figuring out. He's going to get his new. I'll tell everybody. Screw it. I've got a couple of sponsors I've never put out on the channel yet. One of them is Snap-on. I went by and was talking to my Snap-on rep today, and he follows the channels and stuff. And he's like, you know what? I want, because he's an owner of the franchise, and he's like, I want to do something. He's like, come on. He said next Wednesday, meet me over here, and we're going to shoot a little video together. And he's going to be giving away, I think it's 1 or 2 shirts through a giveaway through that's a Snap-on shirt. Now, the only way you can get these shirts unless you buy 2 from them, or like one of these guys give them to you. And trust me, the shirt costs you a lot, because if you buy one socket off there, it's like $100. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's usually the way that I buy so much crap from them. Let's put it this way: I have a Snap-on wallet. I got several shirts. Look, Lakeia calls that her other arch enemy is the Snap-on Man, because not only do I like guns and property, but I have a tool fetish. So,
well, how many ratchets you got?
About last count, probably I got a whole drawer, 2 foot by 2 foot drawer that's full of ratchets. I got just about every kind of Snap-on ratchet that's ever been out. I probably got about 60 or 70 ratchets.
Next thing you're going to do is the Lakeia, can I buy a Snap-on truck and paint it up and deck it out with 800-pound horsepower whatever?
Well, let's put it this way: they're electric ratchets. They've got a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch in regular ratchets, and then they got the guns. I've got one of every one of the guns, and they're $1,000 a piece.
Oh man, you still ripping engines out of old cars?
Not here lately. It's done got to where because of the way things have gone, it costs more to do it now. I've just got the shop shut down right now until this economy kind of like does whatever it's going to do, because luckily I got rid of all my scrap that I had a couple of months ago before the market really fell out, because a car that I went and bought like this time last year for $400 that I could actually double my money on right now, if I bought it for $400, I'd be lucky if I got $200 back out of it. I'm doing some of my own stuff and stuff from some family members and stuff, but I'm not really doing anything right now, because it costs more to fool with any of that stuff over there than what the shop makes it. And like I said, Lakeia's already on to me about stuff, so I had to cut some corners some places. And like I said, right now it's just not feasible. I'm working on my own stuff, and she gets on to me all the time for that. But
oh man, well, that little thing that she did, that trick she did last night on your live stream, you and her together, I saw a little bit of that, and that Walt's boss thing popped up, and you said, well, let me show you who's boss here, and you kicked her out of the room for a second. But one, two.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Hey. Happy
I
marriage,
didn't realize she done that. Yeah, well, I said I didn't realize she done that. But yeah, y'all go. Hey, that's the other thing. Y'all go subscribe to Dogmancams, because we're fixing to put another cam up. Actually, I've got 2 places we're fixing to put cams up. The first one's going up to make sure all our jury rigging works that we have come up with of poor man engineering to get another camera system up, because Cricket screwed us. So.
Oh, okay. So, are you going to do like the DW did down there in Louisiana and spray foam it in place, or what?
No, it's all right. We're having to take a camera like I got in my backyard that's Wi-Fi. All right, and then we're having to put a external battery, one of those I think it's a 5,000 milliamp battery. We're putting on it with a solar panel to keep it charged, and then a hotspot. We're having to go buy a hotspot, and then I had to build a box to put everything in that's waterproof, and then all that's attached on a board, and then that board gets attached attached up against a tree. But like that's the only way.
Did you go buy a Pelican case or something for the Wi-Fi hotspot, or what?
Yep. I've got matter of fact, it's an ammo Pelican case. That's like I said, like I told DW, it was the easiest thing to modify, and I know it's going to be waterproof. And that was the biggest thing. Plus, it's plastic, and it shouldn't interfere with the signal of the hotspot. But that's the only way right now we can come up with a way to get another camera system back up, because we've got 6 other cameras that are like cell phone cameras, and because of 3G, 4G, and they're on the Cricket system, and you can't take them off the Cricket system. Cricket has moved from 4G to 5G, and for some reason they will not let it run on their system. Every time we get it hooked up, within about 5 minutes of it being on the system, it kicks it out. It says unauthorized equipment. It kicks it off.
Well, that sucks. Well, what does Rio say? Rio Link or whatever that thing is. What are they saying about it?
Real Link doesn't know what to do. They've contacted me twice, and they're like, "Well, we're trying to work with another carrier to get this fixed." See, the other thing is, Cricket doesn't want to. Or your cell phone, even though it says it's unlimited, after a certain like mine is 64 gigs of data, it goes from 5G down to like 3G or whatever. You know how they do that? They downgrade you, even though it's full. You have unlimited. Yeah. But if you read your fine print, it doesn't say unlimited at that speed. But anyway, because those cameras that were like we used to run them were running way over the data, eating up so much data, I guess that's the reason why I kicked them off. I don't know, because they wasn't exactly designed to do what we're doing with them, but we're not telling them that.
Yeah, it didn't have 100 people trying to log in all at once trying to figure out, well, what is that out there? Is that a blob squatch or a blob whatever? Who knows?
That's like the camera system we got out here now. We noticed there was like almost double the amount of people watching the camera than was paying for it. So we had to, if y'all don't realize it by now or haven't contacted DW, the password changed. So all those people that had this password are not getting on the camera.
There's probably on some message board, hey, we got the Dogmancam or whatever, but oh man. Yeah, don't do that. That kind of ruins it for everybody.
Yeah, because there was like, there's not but like 100 and something people that actually paid for it, and there was 400 and something people watching the camera.
Holy shit.
So, yeah. So that's why the password got changed. Because, like I said, this is an expensive project. And like I said, it's not fair to the people that are paying for the people that aren't paying. So, it is what it is, but that's the only way to fix it. And because, like I said, I can see how many people are accessing the camera, because it goes through a computer back there and it logs everybody's IP address. And because that's just the way the system works. When you log in,
if you've got should have a couple hits from Russia, because I logged in on my VPN from Russia just to see what's happened.
Well, I don't even look to see where they're coming from, but like it's got a log on there that like DW can send me over it's a file he can send over, and I can put it in there, and everybody that's supposed to be on there, it matches it. It's got a green light, and then the ones that don't have the little that show up in green are ones that it could be when you signed up on your cell phone. Well, your cell phone's not going to be that same IP address, so you can't really go by that. But I know damn well that 100 something people ain't going to have 300 something different devices.
Zuiki says that's how Hot Pockets hijacked the system.
Well, they got blowed up this morning. So
yeah, I was like, hey, wait a minute, I was supposed to get on the cameras a little later on, and my password didn't work, and I was like, well, then DW sent me the password, and I was like, okay, cool, there you go.
Yeah. Well, that way, like I said, it makes it fair to everybody that's paying for the system. It's not fair for the ones that are not paying to have the same access that the ones that are actually spending money.
Right.
And our subscribers, look, if y'all thought that last video was something else with the ZWikiCam, I also have, we had I'm going to announce it on my channel, but I got in some more gear that people have sent me. One of them is, I've never seen a camera system like this. It goes around my head, and it's sitting on the right side right over my ear. So whatever my right eye seeing, you're seeing.
Oh,
so
cool.
if I'm looking down a gun barrel, you're going to be looking down a gun barrel with me. That's one of the things I'm fixing to start wearing. And then Bumkiss got me a camera to him and Z Wiki. I think have it out for me. I see Z in the chat. They, her and him got together and bought a GoPro, and it's going on my back, and it's got its own night vision stuff. So,
wow. So Bumpkiss, you got a new set of woods named Bumpkiss now?
Well, it's not woods. It's actually a building. It's Bumpkiss Building. It is an old school that supposedly is haunted. They don't know if it's haunted or I've gotten reports of supposedly big dark black figures moving around in there. And then also, like, police have been called there, and they say all the windows on the back have been broke out. And a couple of them say as soon as they drove up, they heard something leave that building and go out the back. So it's just a wooded lot behind it. It could be a squatch going up in there, and that would account for people seeing big black objects and they're moving around. Or it could be haunted. I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Oh, there you go.
That's coming down the pipeline. Like I said, I've been dealing with some family issues. I've got an uncle that's going through chemo, and that's always fun, and helping them out, and then trying to run around and do all this other stuff in the woods and getting projects. I need about 4 other things to be doing, and I guess I'll be doing good. I'm glad I'm retired. I'm ready to go back to work, though, so I can get a break.
Well, you just adopted a new job hunting Bigfoot and Sasquatch and dogmen.
Yeah, but see, that to me, that's not a job. That's fun. I'm talking about I'm out in the woods. I'm away most of the time. I'm away from everybody. Everything else is work. But like I said, I work now. I work more now retired than I did before I retired. I don't understand this. I thought retirement was supposed to be relaxing and fulfilling. If I stay around the house, like the honeydew list gets longer. That sun gun is a never-ending story.
Well, that's why you got kids, right? Can't you get one of your boys to help you out?
Yeah, they help me leave the house. Usually one of them, if they hear I'm leaving, they're ready to go.
All right. Hey, you released a video where you were following something in a leaf littered forest floor up to like a barbed wire fence. How long was the stride on that thing?
It was hard to determine because, like I said, it was the way the ground is, it's not real soft. And like I said, what I was doing is seeing I was picking out the tracks in the leaf litter, but it wasn't leaving what I call discernible tracks. And I'm going to say probably almost a 5-foot stride.
That's a pretty good long length. What was that, about 8 foot tall, something other or plus for a 5-foot stride?
That's what I'm figuring around that, and say it could have been overstriding or understriding. So, but that's where one of the new cameras are going. That's where when the lady called in, she called into the cops about this, and the way she described it, she said, "Y'all need to get somebody out here because there's an elephant down here trying to tear up the woods behind the house, and and the way it's going off, and the lady could hear it over the phone. That's how loud it was, and she said she thought it was going to blow out all the windows in the house. It was just ear deafening. She said you could put your hands over your ears and still hear it screaming.
Oh man, like really loud, shake the windows, screaming loud.
Yeah, and the reason why I did it was they just inherited a dog from one of their family members that had passed away. Because, like I said, these things had probably been there for how long, watching them and everything else. And, they never knew anything. Well, they just inherit this dog, and this dog gets there, and the dog keeps cutting up at the back door. He just throws a fit. They let him out the back door, and he usually stays up on the deck because they got a gate that shuts the deck off. And he'll just stand up on that deck just barking, barking, barking. Well, the first 3 days the dog was there, really nothing happened. He just barked all the time. Well, then it started coming off the deck, coming into the yard, and it would just get right there to a certain point and just go crazy. Well, then all of a sudden they started hearing something down in the woods, and the way the lady described it, she says, "I've heard bobcats and stuff before, and that's what I thought it was." I thought it was like two bobcats we can get ready to fight. And she said, we just didn't really think nothing about it. We'd call the dog back up, and then she went to go out the door, not last night, but the night before last, and somehow the dog went by her and got out, went all the way down almost to the wood line right there, and just started going crazy. And that's when this thing went to screaming. I guess the dog got too close to it or whatever, and it didn't like it, and it went to screaming. They said that dog urinated and pooed all over itself and ran into the house, went under a table and knocked up and would not come back out.
Oh man!
So
that sounds like my dog, my old dog. There was a old shepherd's hook with like a little plant or something on there, and had a little storm come through, and lightning hit that shepherd's hook while my dog was outside. He comes in, looked like he was smiling, and puked all over the place. It scared the living shit out of that dog. Didn't do any good for me either, but yeah. That sounds like
they said if they didn't get that dog to go back out, they have to drag that dog out now to go outside just to use the bathroom, and they'll hook the leash to it, and it gets so scared it just defecates all over itself because it don't want to go inside.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks. So did they record anything or take pictures or any kind of
no,
any media whatsoever?
She got on the phone with, and that's how I found out about it. Was one of the cops in that area I've known for a little bit, and he called me and said, "Hey, I got something that's right up your alley." I'm like, I thought he was talking about it. Usually me and him are talking about guns and stuff. I was like, dude, I just got another gun, and Lakea's ready to kill me, ready to shoot me with it now. I said, so I can't. He's like, no. He said, you're into all that monster stuff. He said, we got a crazy report down here. A lady called in and said there was an elephant down in the woods behind her house. I said, a what? He said she described it as and he said that's the only thing that she ever heard of that was sounded like that and was as loud as that was an elephant at the circus one time when it would do that trumpet roar. That's loud if something's down in the woods doing that. But she said it was the bushes and all that kind of, it was like it was trying to tear the woods up. Because that was right after that dog went down there and teed it off. But that's the way she called 911 and told them there was an elephant loose in her backyard.
How long since they inherited this dog? How long did it take to get to you to get in her backyard?
I think they inherited this. I think they wound up with this dog. I think the dog's been there almost 2 weeks. And this encounter where she called the cops either happened Sunday or Monday night. I don't really remember. I didn't. I was listening when he said elephant in the backyard. I just kind of looked at him like, I thought he was joshing with me. Mm-hmm. He said, "Dude, I swear to God, we went out there. They dispatched us out there. We get there we get there, and the way she's talking, it's going on now. They get there, code 4, which is and they get there, and everything's fine. Code 4, there's nothing going on. As soon as they pulled up, with lights and all that stuff, she said as soon as this thing heard their sirens, shut up."
That's wild. So how long has this been going on here recently, in the last few weeks, or
it was either this Sunday or this Monday is when when it broke down where it chased the dog back in the house. And I go up there to the lady, knock on the door, and say, tell her who I am, and say, one of the officers that responded contacted me and said you were having. She goes, "Yeah, they're telling me it's just a wild animal down in the woods. I want it." She goes, "I want it gone. I can't have this. The dog is just messing up my house because every time we go to hook a leash to it to go out, and it's just using the bathroom all over the floor." She goes, "And I can't get rid of the dog because I think it was her daddy's dog, and she don't want to get because it was her daddy's dog. If I'm not, it was either her daddy or her uncle." She was talking so freaking fast and so upset, it was like you record her and then play it in slow motion to figure out what the hell she's saying. And I said, well, this is kind of what I do. I the way I approach something like that, I don't say, I'm there for, but I try to, I look into nuisance animals. Well, this is an animal. Most is what I believe. And it gets you a little bit further than saying, well, I'm here investigating Bigfoot or Dog Man, because then they'll look at you like you're crazier than hell and just won't talk to you no more. Well, I went down. I told her, I said, well, I'm going to go down in the woods and look around and see what I can see. And that's where I went down in there with the camera with y'all and did that. And what I seen, I believe it's some kind of cryptid. I believe it's because whatever it is moving on 2 legs. It ain't moving on 4.
What kind of dog was it? What kind of dog did that lady inherit?
It's a collie. It's a collie. Like I said, nice, pretty dog. And no, Lakea.
You're not going to adopt it.
No, I got too many. But anyway, like I said, and I came back up there, and I just told her, I said, look, I think I know what it is, but I don't want to tell you what I think it is yet. I need to put a camera down there and leave it. She goes, you can do whatever you got to do. If you think you can eventually get it to leave. I said, I can't make you any promises, but I see what I can do. I think this thing's been coming in there for a while. The way the ground's off, it's been longer than a couple of days, this thing coming in there. Because, like I said, the videos just don't do it justice. You know what I'm talking? It looks like the first path I went through, y'all can see it's probably 6 foot tall, 4 foot wide, through a bunch of briars.
Yeah, I saw that.
Deer don't make trails like that. Deers don't make trails like that.
A car makes a trail like that.
6 to 8 inches.
A car makes a trail like that.
Yeah, or a bigger, or something really big. And this is
side by side.
If it was a cloven hoofed animal like a deer or something like that, the trail would look different. It'd look like a tiller's been going back and forth because their feet cut the ground. Well, for leaves to be compacted down and the soil can be compacted down, it has to be flat-footed, wide flat-footed. And that's the way this looks. Like I said, we're going to get a camera there and we're going to find out what the hell it is. I believe it's some sort of squatch. I don't believe it to be Dog Man because I didn't find any claw marks. I could be wrong, though. That's the whole thing with this. When you're investigating, I'm not going in with assumptions. I'm going in with, I know it's some kind of animal. I believe it to be a 2-legged animal. So we're going to have to put a camera up and see what we catch. A lot of people were saying they seen stuff in the video that I put up. I did not see. Now I heard a couple of things, but I did not see anything. And when I first started in, right as I went under that tree, I took it that a limb fell out of the tree. But if it did, that was the only limb that fell. A limb about, I'm gonna say about the size of a Coke can, probably about 16 inches long, come out of the tree. Come out of the trees. I don't know. I didn't get to see.
Was it a deadfall limb or was it a fresh break?
That I don't know. I just happened to look over and catch it, and I kind of like dismissed it because I'm trying to get down to the bottom. I was hoping maybe if it was something doing it, it would do it again. It never did it again, so I can't tell you that it wasn't deadfall. But if it was, why did it fall all of a sudden right then? Because I wasn't touching the tree it came out of. I wasn't nowhere near it. It was probably 20 feet away from it. You go watch the video, and right at the beginning of the video, when I go in and I go under that deadfall that's laying down, and the deadfall is probably 18 inches around, it falls and hits the ground right on my left side. Where it came from, I have no idea. If it came out of the tree, the tree was probably 30 feet away from me. So I think something threw it. I'm not sure. I can't prove it, but it only did it one time. But they said that they seen stuff down in front of me, right on the other side of that fence I walked up to. I've had several people leave comments saying they saw something move in that area. I didn't see it. Now, I heard stuff moving, but I couldn't see nothing. I took it that maybe it was deer I was jumping up and spooking. Until I seen, I didn't see anything.
When you got up in that video to that point where you were next to that fence, I was looking to see if I could see any fiber or hair or whatever that was grabbed by the fence, because it looked like the top of that fence line was pulled down quite a bit.
Oh, it was. you can see where, you know, when deadfall or something hits a fence, it'll push the top of it down, but it ain't going to take it all the way down. Right beside, you can see where a deadfall is, and then I walked over and showed this. Dude, this is a 5-foot area that something just ripped the fence down. There's deadfall to the left of it, and then the fence is gone. So if the deadfall didn't knock it down, what tore that fence up? I've seen that several times in places where, you know, they've stepped on those fences and just snap them and break them, and they just walk back and forth. I looked all up and down that fence in that one area, and I didn't see any sign of hair or nothing else on it. I might have missed it, but I didn't see it. I'm trying to get permission to get on the property behind it. I put in a couple of calls to the people, and I haven't got a return yet. Because, like I said, this is a lady's property, and it's in town. That fence line is actually the city limits. Literally, that fence is where the city limit stops. Everything on the other side of the fence is county.
Okay.
And like I said, I walked all the way to the fence, and I walked down and found the corner of her property may be an acre that's got, you know, heavy woods on it. And they're coming in, it looks like to me they're coming in from the neighbor's property, coming right there to that house. Because if you keep walking past that fence, there's 2 big fields. There's a soybean field there and a cornfield.
So you're utilize like a hair trap or something, like if something big and hairy comes by it to kind of snatch a little hair off of it? Have you ever thought about using something like that?
Yeah, I've used stuff like that in the past. I'll take spider line and I'll take double-sided tape, and I'll take that spider line and push it down into the sticky part of the tape, and then I'll tie that up in a tree somewhere, because, you know, double-sided tape is clear, and then it's on that spider line, and I just use a small little slivers of it. Right. That way, hopefully, if it walks by, you know, I've used that before. I've gotten some evidence off of it, but I'm thinking about just putting that camera back on that hill where I came into to see if I can catch whatever's coming. I think they're coming up and going right to where that edge of that, you know, where that bank is. I think they're staying right there, because something's done wore that bank down, and all the bushes right there at the bank are pulled down like he grabbed it and pulled it. I don't know if you noticed that in the video, but they're all pulled down going down the bank, and that's the only place it's done like that.
All right. Wow. That was an interesting video. I'm going to have to go back there and look at that video a little closer when you got next to that fence and see if I can see anything in the background, in the foreground.
I said a couple of people have said that they've seen stuff. I didn't see nothing, but I heard stuff. But like I said, I think I even said on the video, I think we might have jumped some deer up. But it could have been anything.
Wow. Well, Vaught, I've been getting a phone call from a guy from, I think, Ireland. Let me hop off here and go give him a call and see what he's got going on. That's no problem, man.
Thank you for letting me come on. And y'all go check out Dogmancams. And as always, sweet nightmares.
I'm gonna have to record that laugh of his. So hold on just a second. Let me get this. All right. Keith King has been trying to call us, so let's give him a call and see what's going on with him. Hey, Keith.
Hello.
Hey, Keith. Sean with Chasing the Truth. I've seen that you called a couple times, had Vault Nightmares on. So what's going on with you today, sir?
Not too bad. I have my father here. He's willing to tell you a couple of stories. Will I wait until Vault is finished and ring back or something?
No, I already got him off the line. He's already been on quite a bit. So I said, well, let's change it up and see what's going over in Ireland.
All right. So let me just.
What's your dad's
name? Jimmy.
Jimmy. Okay.
Yeah. Until I just mute this here. Hold on now till I get you on speaker.
All right.
Let me see now. How do I get speaker off? Speaker on.
And we're waiting for the speaker button, I guess.
Speaker should be on. Oh no, there it is.
There it is. Can you hear me?
Now, Jimmy, come over here and chat to this man.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, Jimmy. How are you doing today, good sir?
Great. So far.
What kind of interesting stories? Yeah, I want to hear a good story.
Yeah, well, I was born on a farm of land. You see, my father had a farm of land, and his father only lived, we'll say, 600 yards across a small field of another man's to get to our house. My grandfather lived in one house in a different townland. There was a little stream dividing them, like. And my uncle lived in another house, and the same stream was dividing the townlands, like. And back years ago, when I was only young, like, we heard a story about a man that lived on the land near us. He only had a small little bit of land, and he lived in a house that was thatched. And he was coming one night after playing cards in somebody's house, and he was lifted up with this big turkey cock, as he caught himself, up on the roof of his house. And he had a little penknife, and he was stabbing at this big turkey cock. And of course, the people say
Found him stabbing in the ear.
He was stabbing in the ear and on the roof of his house, but he got off the roof of the house anyway. And the wife at the time went in to see a priest or something like that to see what be wrong, but he fell asleep. This is the story I was told.
Mm-hmm.
But in later years, then, two of my brothers, younger brothers, they were about 7 and 8 at the time, 7 and 8.5, and they seen two little horses.
You'd have to explain to him though that man who seen the turkey cock thing, that would have been back in the 1800s, like, and he didn't drink, by the way. And for someone to do that would be completely out of character. Like, you're not only would you be blackened, but your whole family will be blackened.
Well, they'd laugh at him, you mean?
You know, so it'd be completely out of character for anyone to make up a lie like that.
Years after that, anyway, like my father was born in 1912, and my grandfather, his father, he'd be born in the 1800s. So he went astray in the same. My uncle went astray. I went astray. My brothers.
You have to explain that.
We went astray.
Sorry, Sean. That's called a stray sod here in Ireland. It's where you're in your own field, and like most fields here in Ireland would be only like what, like it'd be rare to find a field that'd be 10 acres. Like, so there'd be only a couple of acres, but you could be in your own field, and you literally can't find your way out of the field until the next morning. So they call it a stray sod, where you step on a stray sod, and you can't find your way out until the sun comes up. And it's happened so many people down through the years. Yeah, you tell them now.
But eventually, anyway, my two brothers seen these two little horses. Now, my neighbour, our horses was different than these two they seen. My neighbour had two horses, a black one and a red one, like an Irish draft, with a white face, a reddish one. Big horses to plough and mow and do stuff, farm work and horses. And they seen two little horses about a foot tall in this corner of the stream. Now, the stream dividing these town lands, we'll say, it'll go dry in the summertime. You know, it wouldn't be running all the time, so it was only a small stream.
Okay.
It was like a borderline. And my father sent me over to see, could I see any tracks of water hens or anything like that. Like, my brothers had no water hens, and they'd know all different sorts of birds, and how many eggs to lay in the nest, and what nest that was, even if there wasn't a bird on it. They'd know that, you know what I mean, at that age. And then years after that, then I went astray, my brothers went astray, my uncle, my father, couldn't get out, couldn't get over. Had to stay in the field all day or all night until the next morning. It got bright, and then everything was okay. Couldn't get out through a hedge because the trees were so close together you couldn't get out through them. Everything looked different. But in years after that, then I was coming from my grandfather's house, and it was a moonlight night that night, clouds, and it'd get duskish and then it'd get bright, and it was about, I'd say it was probably after 12 o'clock at night. And when I crossed over this little stream into the town land, there was only about about 300 yards to go, and we'd be into our own land then. And there was a path over through his land, this fella's land, that seen this turkey cock supposed to be. But he'd be dead in years and years and years. I don't remember him, but I remember the wife as I was a young lad.
Okay.
But she was an old woman. But it ended up anyway.
There's a lovely orchard there now. So
I was walking across a path with a path cut across, where you'd be walking in the same area across, like a path cut through the field, we'll say. And you'd walk across there. And next thing is this breeze come up. And I thought like there was cattle running through a ditch or something. Outrageous noise. And this breeze come up, a cold breeze, and it hit me in the face. Oh, and it took all the energy out of me. And the next thing is, this shock was nudging at me, and it was a little pony. A fawny sort of a pony with long hair on him, fawn coloured. And I come along, I had no energy, ran out of energy, and he only had about 100 meters or so to go to our land. And the little pony was nudging at me, very friendly, and he was only about 4 foot tall. Now, I was about 15 or so at the time. And he enticed me to get in his back. So I lay across his back and said, go on. And he walked on one step and he wouldn't go any further. But we had ponies and horses and all on the land at the time. And I could get up on a pony without any headgear on him or anything like that, and hold his nose and direct his head this way without any saddles or anything like that on him, and ride ponies and all. Like. So I caught him by the nose anyway, and I got across in on his back. And I said, go on. And I was hitting him with my feet, and he wouldn't go. He wouldn't move. And the next thing is he took off and he broke my grip. And he jumped across this ditch where there was like a drain down a hill. He jumped across it, and the other bit of a land that belonged to your man was sort of moorish sort of land. Well, he was going...
That's like sort of swampy land.
Swampy land.
Mucky,
well, he
swampy.
was flying. And I the size of him and the speed he could go. And in under these hedges he went, and I had to get down real low on him and do my best to hang on to him. And he was coming to a main road then. Eventually coming to a main road, a wide road. But at that time, that was in, we'll say, 59 or 60, 1960. And eventually got off. And he turned and he started to go, kicking his heels up and down. He was going.
Like he was
But he
back.
changed. He got bigger. He got bigger as he was going back up along this stream.
This pony
he
was getting
changed.
bigger?
He was getting bigger, yeah. And the
Okay.
hair went off. He was getting bigger. And he looked like a stag, a deer. The hair went off and he got bigger. And the ears got longer. And when I went home, I told my father about it, and he said, oh, no, so-and-so. The neighbour had race horses at the time, foals, and I said, not at all, no. And then your man that owned the land, that bit of land that was there, he had a white horse. I said, no, not at all. I said, I know what I'm talking about. But the next day anyway, or the next evening, I went over to look to see any tracks. No tracks of them or not. But my son, as a young lad,
That's me.
that's Keith here, had a book. It showed upon goblins and fairies and different whatnot. And I says, oh God, this here, says I met that.
It showed about the Pooka.
It showed-
It's a famous Irish goblin.
A famous Irish goblin. But the big turkey cock, as this man, his name was Joe Doyle, the owner of the land, he seen this turkey cock. He was lifted up by a big turkey cock, a bronze turkey, But upon the book that Keith had, it was an eagle. And this Pooka, it appeared as an eagle, a bull, a pony or a horse, or a big black dog with shiny eyes.
Yeah.
And he'd frighten you.
Okay.
That was like the one that remember I was telling me uncle seen with the blazing eyes. I remember he had the gun that
he
used
shot him.
tin foil and the bullets out of the slaughter yard, you know, and that was all in the same area.
Yeah,
So,
but down through the years, my uncle, God went astray, but he wouldn't say anything about it. But his wife said, oh, he was out all night, he couldn't find his way. But he wouldn't want anyone to know and say, oh, what sort of man is he at all? He couldn't find his way, you know. Wouldn't believe it.
Mick, your brother Mick, got lost.
What, my brothers. And around that area, my father as well.
And then were you seeing that the Pooka came out to you? That's where I seen the will-o'-the-wisp. And they found that out just...
Well, in the same area then, that's where the two little ponies that my brothers seen, and they only young, back in the 50s.
Mhm.
They seen these two little ponies in this area as well. Now, there's a different man has the land now, but I haven't seen him. And I remember he had his tractor and he had a Jeep parked, and normally it wouldn't be parked there all night. And this is years and years afterwards. I'd be going to work. And I was wondering, why did he leave them there? He must have couldn't get out of the field or something. But I haven't seen him now. If I seen him, I could ask him, did that never funny happen to him there? But there was all these sorts of things. People wouldn't believe it because they'd make a laugh at you. Do you get me?
Yeah. But then, like, if they were telling their own story, they'd believe their own, like, you know, they'd want you to believe their own story, but they wouldn't believe your story, that sort of way, you know. But that's always the way, you know.
Like, at that time, the only thing I'd be afraid of now is a snake. I'd be wary of a snake.
Just tell me about Medjugorje.
I'd be wary of a snake because he'd be too fast for me. No, if I had a knife, I wouldn't be afraid of a lion. You know,
What was this?
Man,
and I wouldn't be frightened of anything.
What was this thing you said kept changing shapes from a pony to a big black dog? What was that called?
That's called a Pooka.
Pooka.
It's a famous Irish goblin, and it shows itself in 4 forms. A little small shaggy pony, which will entice weary travellers onto its back. It's like the English and the Scottish Kelpie, but they're more. They literally will bring you into water and kill you. Where the Pooka will just dump you into a swamp
just to frighten you,
and will run off, kicking his legs up, making like a farting sound, like he's laughing at you. But it can either be a small pony, or a big black dog, like a hellhound, like a dog man, except
the dog
on 4 legs. So long as and then it can be a big eagle or a big bull with blazing eyes.
But the black dog is as big as a donkey.
No.
That's the size of those
like
black
a hellhound.
As big as a donkey.
And that's known all down through Irish folklore as well. The big giant, the big black dog thing. But tell them about Medjugorje when you were over there with Manny, because that was scary.
Well, I was in Medjugorje with my wife at the time in our restaurant, and I was beginning to believe there was a sort of miracle working. Like, I'm not religious or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The window in the room I was in, my wife was very sick at the time. I thought she was asleep, and I was sitting back on the bed. And the next thing is, the window sort of blocked up, and an archway come in the corner of the room, a half arch, and there was people walking in the arch. And a window come, the window would be about, the normal height of a window be about it could be 7 to 10 foot wide. But there was a yellowish sort of a curtainy thing on it, shaking. And I could see these people going in, and they were old type people with old clothes on them, and they were walking in twos. and going into this arch, and I was looking to see where they're going to. And the next thing is, this yoke appeared, and it seemed they were going into him. I couldn't see right, but he looked. All I could see was an arm, and he was a funny sort of a greenish colour. I couldn't see his eyes. He wouldn't let me see his eyes. They were just dark holes. But he was shaking, and he had a mouth that he could open real wide. A funny sort of a yoke, green, and he had his arm like you'd imagine it was in a sling, but it wasn't. But I wasn't afraid of him. But he could come then eventually. He could come from one end of the room to the other, up, stick his head up right close to me. And I sort of got wary then, all right. And I sort of said a few prayers as well as this. I got wary. And then he disappeared. And my wife at the time says, is there something wrong? And I says, no, I didn't want to frighten her on with that. But I was telling a woman then, she was from New Zealand, and she was saying, oh, that's Satan's little helper.
Oh, okay.
That's what you're saying.
Because this man Sean here had he lost his leg and he was in a coma and he had a near-death experience.
Yes.
And it was like a real big long one. Like he was literally brought all over. He was shown heaven, hell, everything. You know, it was a seriously massive. It's the most believable NDE, that's what they call near death experience, that I've ever heard in my life. You know, and I believe that this man here, with his podcast here, is doing this. He's doing God's work. He's helping so many people with this podcast. So he is. Like you were telling me, Mammy seen when she was dying.
Well, she was afraid of spiders anyway. Very much, but she was supposed to be dying. And there was this white light. She was attracted to the white light, and there was lovely big flowers. She was walking these lovely big flowers and all these huge spiders on them. They were 5 or 6 foot big. And she wasn't afraid of them, and she was heading towards the light, but I was shouting, you're not going. That was in the hospital to get me. And she didn't. She said about that the white light was sort of attracting her to the white light.
And when I had my NDE, I seen her. I seen my mother. And I was having nightmares the whole time since she died. She looked like she did when she died. Like she went from 13, 14 stone right down to 5 stone. Well, she was healthy. She went down to skin and bone, and that's the way I remembered her in my dreams. But I had an overdose and died. But thank God I was brought back. But I seen her, and I wanted to run up and hug her, and I was bawling my eyes out, crying, like, you know. But she says, no, you can't touch me. The only way I can explain it to you is I'm too cold. And to me, that meant if I touched her, I would have crossed over fully, and I wouldn't have been able to be brought back to life, you know. But ever since then, like, I asked her a few questions and things like that, and I couldn't see behind her, but I could tell that there was something behind her, and it was good, you know. And then after that, I never had a nightmare about her ever again, you know. And she looked so healthy that time, like, you know. And she was wearing a poncho, like an American poncho, so she was. And she was the ground was like covered like in stone flaggers, and she was sort of up on a step, and she was sort of sitting on like a stone chair that came up out of the ground, and she had this poncho on her, but I could only just see her face, but she looked so healthy, and I'll never forget it, like, you know. But after that, like, I stopped having the nightmares, and I stayed away from fucking drugs after that. Then, you know, that learned me less.
That encounter that you had with your mother, that last encounter, sounds like that was a God sent. encounter.
Yeah, it was. It
Mhm.
was. It was. I tell you, it was.
But Sean, where I seen this Pooka, as we call Little Pony, about 200 meters from that area there, my father had potatoes. I was only about I suppose I was about 70 years ago. Roughly 70 years ago. I'm 76 now, so 70 years ago. I was about 6-year-old or even less. And after the war, you see, in Ireland, anyone with land or anything like that had to set tillage, like potatoes, turnips, swede, oats, barley, wheat. It was compulsory tillage. I don't know why, but compulsory tillage after the war, Second World War. And I remember my father, when he had all his potatoes dug in the hole on the ground, he left all these little small potatoes. And I says, what are they for? And he says, they're for the fairies. He hadn't a great crop that year. And normally he would have, you know what I mean? So he left them for the fairies. The next year he had a great crop of potatoes in the same
Tell me
field.
about the light. I heard it on it was on another channel, where this woman, I can't remember what channel it was, but there was this woman. She was shining a light, and she could hear sort of voices, but she was shining a light in her yard. But when she shined the light away, from the grass, she could see the grass sparkling. But when she shined the light back to the grass, it would stop sparkling. But when I told Jimmy about that one, he says that's the exact same thing that he seen with his father that night that they were doing the thing that he could see sparkling, wasn't it on the
Where my father left these small potatoes for
fairies.
fairies. We were going out to look at cattle because there was cattle in it and there was grass in it at the time. There was no potatoes at the time. And when he shined the light, he had a torch. When he shined the light, it seemed to be all sparkling. Well, lovely sparks. And you'd imagine it was frost, but there was no frost in it. And he says, that's funny, you know what I mean? But me as a young lad at the time, he wouldn't see anything to frighten you or anything like that, you know?
Claire Ellis wants you to say thank you in Irish, Jimmy. In the chat here, the girl Claire Ellis, she wants you to say thank you.
Guramahagut.
Garamila Mahagut. Garamila Mahagut. Does that mean 1,000 thank yous or 100,000? Cade Mila Fault. Cade Mila Fault means 100 welcomes.
Guramahagut is thank you.
Yeah.
So I've got one question that's from the chat. Is there anything to these leprechaun stories?
Well, I believe that the thing that I saw, if I saw it from 15 foot away running, I would have swore that it was a leprechaun with a little tailored suit on it. But the fact that I seen it literally only a meter from my face, do you know what I mean? And it didn't have a suit on it. It had ivory next to its skin, and then it had like browny dead black leaves and a leaf wrapped around its head that looked like a funny looking hat. It looked like a tailcoat from the 1800s. So it was camouflaged, and people say that the said, and it didn't have a beard, you know. And remember I told you it was kind of like a bluey grey colour, like a corpse colour, and it only had 3 fingers as well and a thumb. Now I didn't see its feet because where it was behind there was these 2 rocks, you know. But it was looking at the little bird that was smashing the snail off the rock, you know, to get at it. And I thought that was a leprechaun making a shoe, you know. I was only 9, a kid. So I thought if I sneaked in real quiet, you know, I'll see the leprechaun. But when I seen it, I thought to myself, and forgive me for cursing, but I thought, I says, what sort of a bollocks am I in fucking getting thorns all stuck into me elbows and me knees and all looking for leprechauns? Did not think I'd grow up. And just as I was just as I was turned around, I seen this thing looking at the oak, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There was these 3 rocks just where I was able to crawl in to get into where I could see the bird, and he was just at those rocks. So I, like, to this day, I still wonder, did I crawl right past him when I was going in there, or did he come up afterwards? But he was looking at the bird as well, and when the bird finally got the snail out of the shell and flew off with him, he kind of turned around and took in a breath of air, like you know, and his shoulders went up and down, and like like that, you know, and smiled at me. And when he smiled, his mouth was full of teeth. Like, do you remember that film Critters? It's a real old film. Yeah, his teeth. He had a load of teeth like that. Do you know what I mean? All pointed, yeah. And that scared the crap out of me. And then it realized that that I could see it. And then it didn't know what to do. It didn't know whether to go left or right. But then it ran out where the way I came in, thank God. But I could still see it where the blackthorns didn't quite reach the ground, and it was running back towards the bank of the ditch where there was a big hazel tree growing, where there was like a rabbit hole which a fox probably took over, or a badger, because it was really wide, you know. But so as soon as I seen it gone a good distance, I got out as quick as I could. But when I got back out, I could actually seen it going down the rabbit. So it must have stopped halfway and waited until I got out. And I seen it going down. And then I found out that my father's brother John actually met the well, I suppose the dog version of the Pooka, and it came exactly out of that exact same place where that leprechaun. I call it the leprechaun thing.
Keith was only young, and he brought me over, and I looked to see where it was, and I seen the burrow, and I believed him. He seen something, but he was only young, you see, and with young people, they nearly wouldn't believe young people. But I says, no, you seen it. You couldn't have said you didn't see it.
You see, we were lucky because Jimmy and his father and his mother and his brothers and his uncles and all that, they've all seen so many things. Like Jimmy's heard the banshee, and the older brother heard it as well. And not the next morning, but the following morning. That's when we were living up in town. A man, he had multiple sclerosis. His name was Sammy Gavin, and he died. So he did. Then he was in the final stages. He's in a wheelchair at that stage. But and then didn't you say Mammy heard one time, and you couldn't hear it, but she could hear it plain as day. And then didn't a great uncle of yours heard his own banshee just down the road here from where we're living now.
Yeah, down where my grandfather lived. Yeah.
You know. And then that there's a fallacy about banshees only crying for people who have O's and Macs in their name, because that's crap. Because there's loads of people who have had banshees cry for them and had no O or they had no Mac in their name. I mean, that man who heard his own banshee, he was Cahill. Cahill. And
so banshee is a curse for certain family members? Certain family
names?
Well,
it's an Irish thing, you know.
I mean, we don't know whether it's a curse or what, but it's...
They say that it'll cry for you, you know, but I don't know. I wouldn't like to hear one, like, especially when I heard that you can hear your own banshee.
When you hear it, it comes in waves, and it never stops, doesn't take a breath, and it comes in waves, and it's not a cat, or it's not a dog, or a wolf howling. It's the hair stand in your head when you listen to this, and you hear it coming in waves.
And it never takes a breath.
And it doesn't take a breath.
Ever.
And my eldest son at the time, he was about 4 or 5.
No, he was older than that, because when Sammy Gavin died, I was 4.
Well, he was 9 then at that time. And I rushed out to see this. I knew it was the banshee, because I heard my father saying about it. And the crying of it, and it was something like from the grave, you'd imagine, because I wouldn't be afraid of nothing, or if I did get a fright, I'd go back the next day to see what it was. My father says, always go back and see what it was. If it was the shadow of a tree or something like that, you'd see what it was in the daytime. It could be that, you see.
Because you can freak yourself out very easy, you know.
But I was inquiring then. No, my son says, I says, what? I was going out to see, could I see it? Because when I counted the three in my mind, and I put my foot to the ground, it stopped. And I had an idea where I was. And I looked out the window, pulled back the curtains, but I wasn't there. I was about 10 yards or so in the wrong area. Directly out, but I wasn't out far enough. And I run out to the window to look out. And my elder son says, did you hear that? And I said, what did you hear? He said, I thought it was a baby crying. He thought it was a baby crying. But it wasn't a baby. You'd know it was inhuman, a sort of, maybe the word for it.
From the grave.
From the grave.
And then when Mammy heard it before I was born,
I couldn't hear it.
You couldn't hear it, but she could hear it, and she could tell exactly where it was traveling. You see, it's meant to travel from where you were born on to the place where you die. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was inquiring then after hearing this banshee, would have been myself, because my great uncle heard it and died. You get me? The next day,
under the window,
his
own bedroom window,
and
then not the next morning, but the following morning he died.
And I said, "Who's sick around the area?" Oh, no. But it was this Sammy Gavin. The ambulance come and I had to help him take him out. I helped him put him into the ambulance. He died. That was about.
He was very good to me. I remember he bought me a remote
1
control.
o'clock in the morning. That was. But it was the next day. The next
remember
morning.
He bought me the remote control car.
Yeah.
No, it was the one, with the wire that would come up to the remote control. But that was back in the 80s. When that was like a rich kid's toy, So when I had that, everybody in the estate was jealous, but he was very, very good to me, That Sammy,
Yeah.
But
the whole family, I think, there was only just a couple of them that didn't suffer from that.
But my father then was selling cattle, you see, years ago. It's all March now. You go in and they're weighed and everything, and there's auctioneers and everything. But there wouldn't be back years ago when I was a young lad. You had to go into town and bring your cattle in town, and fellas would come around and they'd bid you so much for the cattle. And my father was selling cattle in the town, which was about 3 miles or so, 4 miles from our house, the main town in the county. And it come 11 o'clock at night or so, and my mother was looking out the window, and she was knitting a jumper, and she seen this light. And the light, I suppose it'd be the distance 400 or 500 yards from our house.
No, it'd be further than that.
No, it's only 350 yards from the house down to the road. So 400 or 500 yards. And there was a big house.
As the bird flies,
A big house on the land. And there was trees, like a wooded area and everything. But this light, and she says, what? And this was about 11 o'clock at night, and I was still up because my father was out. And I was only young at the time. And
Jimmy was the eldest of all.
I was allowed to stay up, you see, because I was older than the rest of them. And it was like a tennis ball. It looked like a tennis ball. And I knew the area well, and we could see it watching this light, and it was going in and out through the trees, up and down. And it was like if it was playing through the trees, up and down and back, round again, and in and out through these trees, and I could see the height of the trees. And eventually, then it headed off.
And these trees would be 70 foot tall now.
Oh, they would, yeah.
Big beech trees.
Big beech trees, and flying in and out through them, up and down like it was playing. And well, now that area is all houses on it now, in a housing estate. And people is complaining about ghosts in the house, weird things happening in the houses.
Yeah.
In some of the houses where this was. So it's funny.
To me, it was like it was mapping out an area of underground water, or, maybe ley lines, because like there's literally loads of what they call fairy forts or ring forts, and people used to live in them thousands of years ago, There's
around our area now there, we had land, and there was 2 forts in the land. And where I'm living now, I'm living in the next townland where I was born and reared. And just outside my house, looking out at the road, to the left, there was a fort there. There was another one up the road a bit further. We had land further up, and there was 2 forts in it, ring forts. There's about 9 or 10 forts within
a mile radius.
A mile radius, you get me? But with the way land has gone now on farmers and drainage and the whole that, they level the forts and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or they cover, or on a lot of the megalithic sites, they just cover them over with pine trees. So they do. Like they did in Sardinia.
So why did they cover them over with pine trees?
Yeah.
Why did they cover them up with pine trees?
I do not know.
Well, around our area now, they bulldozed them out of it, you know what I mean? And made more land because the ring fort, it was built up a sort of high and a big drain round about it. And you'd imagine, well, there was an area to go into it like a drawbridge, do you get me? And they'd level them out to make more land.
See, over in Sardinia in the 50s and the 60s, there's loads of there were like graves, and they found loads of bones of giants, and they literally spent years taking like truckloads of these bones out, and then they covered all the area up with pine trees, and they could have done that here. Huh?
What time is it over there, Sean?
It's 10:40 p.m. my time.
3:40 a.m.
Wow. That's impressive.
Listen, Sean, we let you go and let someone else call in, and that's my father, Jimmy. There, I'm glad he talked to you.
Thank you, Jimmy, for giving us a couple of stories. That is, I've never heard an authentic Irish story other than maybe a couple of little things from my grandparents, my grandfather. But other than that, this was amazing to me. So.
Yeah, that stray sod where you get stuck in the field, that's common all over Ireland. I mean, like every Irish family would either know somebody, or someone in their family would have some sort of encounter with the she or the fairies or something strange,
Mm-hmm. So is every foot of Ireland haunted, or have some kind of wild, strange stuff going on?
Well, I don't know how true this is, but Ireland and England are called the Blessed Isles. But no, I don't know how true it is, but apparently when the flood happened, Ireland and England survived the flood, and that's why they were called the Blessed Isles. But I don't know how true that is now. I heard that from a fella called Michael Tazarian. If anyone in the chat has ever heard of him, you should look him up. He's a very interesting fella.
Was your grandfather Irish, Sean?
My last name's Graham, so he's a little Irish.
Grant.
Sean Graham.
Graham.
Oh, Graham. Oh, yeah. There is Grahams in Ireland that I know, yeah. Sean Graham. I knew Sean Graham in Ireland.
I was actually named by an Irish nun. My middle name's Michael, Sean Michael Graham.
All right.
Ah.
Mine is James Francis.
JFK. He had a business where he do what's called mixers, like home improvements, and he had a JFK. It was called. Well, we made a good few quid doing that, so we did, didn't we? Because we'd always give someone, when they'd pay us, we'd always give them a luck penny. That means like you throw them €50 back, they'd always get you again,
Well, Jimmy
Yes,
and
my friend.
Keith, I appreciate you
Oh,
calling
yeah,
in.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
this has been amazing storytelling. However long we've been
And
on
that's
here, huh?
and
41
that's
minutes.
only a tiny bit of the stories, you know. But
Oh yeah.
we let someone else call in, and I'm glad Jimmy talked here tonight because he didn't want to talk, you know. But I says I do talk.
It's a funny old world.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jimmy, for doing this. I appreciate it. It
Okay,
was a
sure.
good blessing.
You see them all here in the chat. I mean, they're all saying thank you here. See here, see all the orange things there. They're all saying thank you and they appreciate it. This is like my second family here. So
Right. Okay.
all right, Sean. Listen, thanks very much.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you, Jimmy,
All right.
for the stories. Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right.
All right.
Make sure you have a tip.
All right. All right.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Make
All
sure
right,
you have a tip.
right.
Merry Christmas to you.
All right. Wow. How in the heck do you come up with that kind of stuff? Yeah. How can you top that? An authentic Irish couple of tales, anyway. A Pooka. That's the first I've heard of that particular Irish, a cryptid, maybe ghost, goblin, description of a goblin. That's the first I've ever heard of that. But wow. Okay, folks. Well, this is Chasing Truth. This is Sean Graham at the helm here for the Darkwaters Radio Network on the Paranormal Radio app, on Chasing Truth Sean G on the YouTube. Holy cow. Thank you again, Jimmy and Keith. That was a fabulous storytelling, almost it was a 3/4 hour, something like that. Again, starting today for the Darkwaters family of, I guess, radio shows, podcasts, whatever you want to call it. We're having a contest that started today. And here's the rules. Hold on a second. Let me pull the rules up while I'm sitting here jabbering away. Let's see. Where is it? Let me find what K is. Where is this thing? Yeah, there's a couple of emails from there and there and there and there and there and there and there. Hold on just a second. Let me pull it up this way. Maybe I can find it this way, so I don't get it wrong and get all the other stuff. Let's see. Manage notes. There we go. Where's my notes? Cryptid Christmas. That's the one I want. Okay. A Cryptid Christmas started today, starting December 1st. All the after this mentioned channels on every videos and by said channels on the list I'm about ready to give you with the title of Cryptid Christmas, subscribers must be subscribed, like, and leave a comment. So after this show's over with, leave a comment after the show and put a Cryptid Christmas on it if you don't mind. Actually, that was a pretty good idea Vault gave me. So put a Cryptid Christmas in the comment after the show on the Chasing the Truth Sean G. Let's see. We will choose 7 winners total from each channel on December 11th from the comments left on each channel titled A Cryptid Christmas. So this is officially one of my podcasts with a Cryptid Christmas. 2 of these winners will win a cup. 5 of those winners will win 1 free month subscription to Dogmancams. So from what I understand, if you are already automatically a subscriber of Dogmancams, the next following month you will get free. So just whoever wins gets 1 free month, whichever way it comes. So the drawing will be on December 11th, with the winners announced on December 12th, and you can only win once amongst the 7 channels. And I'll name the channels off here in just a little bit. All winners will be added to a total list, so the Darkwaters can announce this on his channel on December 12th. The following channels are participating, so you'll need to like, share, and subscribe everything that comes out of those channels for the next few days anyway, up until the 11th. Darkwaters channel, The Vault of Nightmares, my channel, Sean G. Chasing the Truth, Dogmancams with DDoS, The Lakea Show, Chaos Theory Productions, An Impromptu Truth, and Thaddeus Cray. I'm going to drop all, I don't know if I can drop all these links in at once, but we'll try in the thing. So we'll get these things here. in the chat, so you can at least try to do that. If you subscribe to all of them, I don't know if you can do this, but here you go. This is going to be one big. Well, no, I can't do that. That's too long, Sean. Let's see. Let me get to. No, that won't work. Crap. Anyway, in that description, I've got links to all those shows. You got to go and subscribe to every one of them, all 7 of them. And then on December 11th, we'll do the drawing, and December 12th, Darkwaters come out and announce the winners and who's getting what, and only one winner among all 7 channels. You can't win twice, just one winner among all 7 channels. So, good luck to you. All right, folks, this is open lines, unscreened open lines, 931-994-6917, or if you've got across the world, Skype, Chasing Truth 2018. I think we've been dropping my Skype thing in the link there. Hold on, just in the chat there. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. That's the wrong thing there, Sean. Skype, okay. If you're across... Oh, wait a minute. We've got a caller. Hold on just a second, caller. We'll get you on board here. All right, caller, you're live on the air. What is your name and where are you from?
This is Michael Owens.
Hey, Michael, what's going on? Grand Prairie, Texas.
I got my new sword today.
Oh my God! Was it that 4-foot long thing that you were talking about? What did you name it?
Was
it Roxanne?
It's got 36 inches of blade and 2 foot of handle.
36 inches.
And okay.
Oh, okay. So you got a 3-foot blade.
Look at it like this, okay? Look at your basic katana off the shelf. Now, take the thickness and width of the blade, double both. And off-the-shelf katana is 40 inches overall. So take that back 4 inches of handle and cover that, and the rest of that is how long my blade is. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So what's the practical purpose of that for you?
Well, it's a Japanese handmade nodachi. It is created and forged for the purpose. It was back in the day forged for the purpose of defending against mounted armored cavalry. So this type of sword is literally made for cutting through an armored horse and rider that's armored, and just cutting through all of it. Now I don't see any cavalry coming my way, but if I have a Dogman, because I don't think I'd pull it on a Bigfoot. I like them too much. If I have a Dogman that's being bad and wants to eat me.
I've only heard a handful of stories where they had any kind of disposition that they would be sort of friendly, and those couple handful of stories, I'm not exactly sure I was believing those stories, but that's just me.
Exactly. So whenever they do that charge, I personally noticed just seeing them do certain things around my property and stuff, and also with the experiences I've listened to, they're going to take a swipe. And whenever I saw them back in the day, they might be fast moving, but whenever they take a swipe, they reach way back and do like a haymaker swipe, and it's not fast. It's slow enough that just put the blade in the way.
Okay.
Use it as a shield. And whenever half of their arm drops off, I'm like, hey, you dropped something.
All right. Well.
But
well, Michael, for the folks that don't know who this caller is, he's called on my show a few times and over on the Vault of Nightmares, and he's been blind for a good 10 plus years.
A few months over a decade, yeah.
So that being said, forgive me for saying this, but it seems odd that a blind man would try to swing a sword. But I guess that's a better choice than having a blind man point a gun at you.
Exactly. I mean, I have.
Which I wouldn't put it past anybody that needed a gun to use to, for whatever reason for self-defense. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't aim too well nowadays. But
okay,
yeah,
I can understand that. Your aim's a little off.
As long as there ain't no people around, as long as they're at least 10 feet away, yeah,
everybody's safe. Everybody's
safe.
Safe.
Everybody important safe, and
yeah. So if you see Michael with a sword in hand, keep your distance. Okay.
Yeah. The only time I would pull that is if there was trouble, like big trouble. And I mean big trouble. But
big trouble. Yeah.
Growing up, I mean, I could not tell you how many times and different rooms that I've lived in whenever I was in East Texas, that I hear this tapping on the window, right? For a long time, I thought it was the heat of the day versus the aluminum frame of the window making the glass, shift and make a sound. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
And then I started getting these like mental messages. Hey, come to the window. Just look out the window. I'm right here. I want to be your friend. And I'm like, no.
Okay. Yeah.
It didn't feel like a friend.
Right.
It didn't feel like Bigfoot. It just didn't. I mean, Bigfoot, you can feel them, and yeah, they feel big and scary, but they don't project fear your direction.
True enough. True enough.
I've only found Dogman and the thing that I'm gonna tell next time I get on Vault's channel, that projected fear, and that big old creature behind the warehouse, it projected fear. But that's not really an ability that a whole bunch of cryptids use.
Well, I thought they used the infrasound to project fear. Is that not only a physical emanation, but also a mental emanation?
I do not think it is entirely physical, because whenever I was in the RV, I felt that fear, but I didn't hear a growl or a howl or anything like that.
Okay.
I mean, he might have been doing it, but I didn't hear that. To me, it was projected mentally at me. I mean, that's what it felt like. I mean, I don't know. You might ask other people that have experienced that, and see what they think, but that's what it felt like to me. Now, every time that this would be going on, this tapping on the window and this mental intrusion, there would be that shadowy thing over in the room, in the corner, up at the ceiling, or, somewhere. So, I mean, I'm really wondering if not only are they in communication, are they in some kind of cahoots? That one is getting the ability to grab up fear off you, and the other one is there scaring you. What is the Dogman getting out of it from that creature?
Honestly, I don't know, other than fear. Maybe disorientation, abandoning their senses, sort of thing, so they can get the upper hand.
Well, I mean, that's what you'd think, but I'm talking about that shadowy thing that's, trying to grab up the fear. I mean, got you under it has you under your blankets, covered up your head and everything, and you won't look out, right. Not even in your own room. So I mean,
I don't have that. I
the,
remember having that fear, but I don't have that fear now. With
yeah, but I mean,
these things.
what is that Dogman getting from that creature? Because they seem to be
DDoS.
working together.
Yeah, DDoS says that every time that he has observed a Dogman or a Bigfoot, he has seen some sort of spiritual emanation coming from them, like I'm going to kind of paraphrase it and say it's a parasite of some sort, or maybe something that.
That's what I was thinking is either a parasite or they're actually getting some kind of ability granted to them by this being. One or the other.
If you remember Shawnee Owl, when he was on my channel a couple weeks ago and a couple weeks before that, he was talking about these shaman, these evil black magic practicing shaman, that they would instill fear and had to do a lot of bad to appease whoever they were getting their powers from. So who knows?
Exactly. So, I mean, that is the reasoning why I'm thinking this and wondering. Because, I mean, if we can break the connection between these beings and the Dogman will be a lot easier to deal with.
True enough.
But we'll have to find out what they're gaining from these beings for, scaring us and getting fear to these beings, so that we can, be able to give them something equally as good.
Well, that's interesting. Well, hold on just a second. Hey, let's see. Darkwoods, I did get that audio file with this crazy owl, whatever that is. I haven't played it yet, but I will here in just a little bit after I get done with talking with my caller, Michael, from Texas, and his 3.5 foot sword or 3 foot sword, whatever that is.
Well, no, it's a 5 foot sword.
5 foot sword. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's got 3 foot of blade, 2 foot of handle. And,
so what did the folks around you say when you got that sword today?
They were impressed. They said, "This is not a cheap sword. This is." I was like, "No, really? When you want to be able to do something, I mean, I don't want to have to hit a monster and have my blade break off because it's not full tang or."
Well, the closest thing I got to a sword was a machete when I was a kid. Yeah, and it had a plastic handle, and it was one of those cheap jobs, and it was one of those.
Metal
sheet
get one
pressed.
of those when you're about 6.
Yeah, that's about the closest thing I had to a sword, and I collected knives and daggers and stuff for a while, which I lost all those in a fire. I think.
Has any that reminds me, machete? That really reminds me of something. Has anybody called in about Mantis race aliens?
I think the last time I had anybody talk to me about it was a guest that had written a book about being abducted, and she talked about that, and I can't remember her name right off the top of my head.
Well, when I was 8, I go into the backyard. And this is when we were here in Grand Prairie, but we were living on the other side of town on a street called Fairchild. We had this big backyard, had a tree in the corner, and the tree over in the middle of the yard by the doghouse, and there's a big old doghouse. I mean, we used it to play in. I always kept a machete between the doghouse and the tree.
All right.
And that's about 4 feet. The yard was split in half, and that side of the yard has a dirt on the ground, and the tree is 4 feet from the fence on one side, and on the back side of the property is about 4 feet. So there's some space to go around back there. On the other side of the fence is all concrete and big old, 14-foot tall sheds and the boat and all that stuff. So I'm over here, over by the doghouse, and something steps out from behind the tree.
Okay.
And it's a light green, about 5.5 feet tall, Its head is probably 8 to 10 inches wide, 4 or 5 inches thick, about 6, 7 inches, front to back. Looks like a big old praying mantis. It don't have hands. It has these, like blade arms that end in, it looks like spikes, but, where the forearm and elbow are, it's kind of, it's kind of wide, like a blade. And this creature only spoke to me mentally. Only.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to do that then. So I'm sitting there responding to it verbally. It said that I had to come with it. And I told it no. And I said, why? And it said, well, we've, come from a time that's in the future. And they know what's going to happen, or they think they know what's going to happen. I personally don't think they knew half of what they thought they did. And that was at 8. And if they leave me there on Earth, things won't go the way they want them to go in the future.
Okay.
That's what it told me. So I had to come with them. And I'm like, really? Are you sure that's the way it is? And at that time, I'm reaching behind the tree and grabbing the machete.
All right. Okay.
Because this creature, supposedly, quote, quote, knows everything and, has to do this. And, I'm like, are you sure? What's the future like? And it, right, 3 or 4 seconds during its process in telling me, what's what, I took his head off.
Wow.
Its head went sailing and went on the other side of the fence over, somewhere where the concrete was.
How old were you at this point?
I was 8 years old. This thing is taller than me and everything.
So what happened to the carcass?
The carcass was spraying this fluid, and it was sizzling everywhere that it touched. I didn't want to be around it. I went over and turned the water faucet on and hosed it all down. And I was going to go, get Mom and let her know what's going on. And so I go in the house. I talk to Mom, and she's busy, and she don't believe me. So I go back out there, and the damn beagles are eating the thing.
Okay.
They ate probably half of it. There was really just like legs and arms remaining with little bits of meat and stuff, and I chunked those in, over the fence. We had these hedges there, and there was a spot there that I chunked it, and over the next year, the hedges in that area died.
Okay.
The bugs came and finished it off and ate all of it, just about. 3 weeks later after that, I went to the other side of the yard, and I'm fooling around, and I done lit a milk jug on fire, and I'm sitting there dropping liquid plastic, making, a mold of something. And I look over in the drainage ditch, and looks like an old shoe there. And I get it, and I pick it up, and it's not an old shoe. It's this thing's head that had been basically hollowed out and eaten. Yeah, it had been hollowed out and eaten out by bugs. And there wasn't nothing but just a little bit of, flaky carapace left. So, And nobody's going to sit there. I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm like, nobody's going to believe that was a creature. I mean, it it looks like trash.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
that was 8. And these creatures do not know half of what they think they know, because he didn't know I was going to do that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Michael, I've got another caller on the line. Let me go grab this call, and I appreciate you calling in, and call back in anytime.
Take it easy. Good night.
All right. Okay, unscreened caller, thanks for waiting. You are on the air. What's your name and where you from?
Yeah, I've called before. This is Mike from Alabama, the Chicken Whisperer.
The chicken one. Okay.
Yeah, I changed the name. But it kind of fits me. I got chickens in my trailer crowing and stuff. But I'm at work now. But anyhow, you might have heard me when I called False Show. I told of an encounter I had. I don't know if you was listening at the time, but it was out. I got about 3 stories, but it was out there where I used to work at number 3 mines in Adger, the old abandoned. And I was down the hill from the equipment, but I was right there guarding the road that went to it, and I was right there beside the ridge line where I seen that other creature I told you about. It was like it was jogging. You know, the first time I called you.
Refresh my memory about that.
About that.
Yeah.
Well, I was downhill, and I was on the road that went into it, but right at the edge. And I done listened to talk radio for about 20 minutes, and I wasn't jamming or anything. It's a new battery from Walmart. You remember now, I guess, you know. We was talking about Walmart batteries that time.
Right.
But I seen something. Anyway, you know, I mean, I found out the Jeep, the battery's dead in the Jeep. It wouldn't crank it. And I was sitting there, and I seen movement out of the corner of my eye. You know, I kind of looked that way, you know, and I done a double take, you know, and it was something tall, looked like it had a wetsuit on it. It was jogging, had its hands out in front of it, and it went into a clump of trees. I didn't see it come out, you know, till later on. And then I seen like 3 gray wolves, one kind of big and 2 smaller, angle up into that area. But you remember me telling you about that?
Yeah, I remember that. Sure do.
I was, you know, downhill and alongside the ridge line, and it had to be summertime. I had my window down. I kept on hearing gravel shuffle, you know, like under somebody's feet or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked. I tried to look in that area. I couldn't see. It was dark, you know, very dark. And I said, look, if you're a Bigfoot, I ain't got no problem with you. I'm not out here for you. I don't mean you any harm. I could even be your friend. But if you're a demon, I don't do demons. And in the name of Jesus, if you're a demon, you need to get out of here. Go now. In the name of Jesus, I don't want anything to do with you if you're a demon. I just kept on saying that. And all of a sudden, I seen something the size of a beach ball go, you know, it just slowed up at an angle, and it's clear, but it had a bluish hue around it. It looked like a chip inside of it. And I told that on Vault's show, and it was floating up at an angle, like it's floating up and away above the Adger water tower, which was about a half mile away from me, but I could see it good.
Okay.
So
this was an energy orb, or what was it? What would you said? You referred to it as a blue ball. So how big was it? Was it energy-like or what?
It just looked like the size of a beach ball. It's clear with a bluish hue around it.
Oh, okay.
It was clear, transparent.
Oh, sort of like a Vault talked about that Glimmer Man that he investigated or got not investigated. Yeah, he did. He investigated and it looked like it was cellophane according to the woman's telling of the story. So, yeah, okay, that's weird.
It looked like a solid creature inside of it, and I got a theory. I texted it to Vault, but he never texted back. But that might have been a genuine will-o-wisp.
Oh,
and,
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking is them will-o-wisps, Vault said that if you follow them, you'll go missing. And
yep, you sure will. Or that's the tale.
What if they are floating like mobile portals, and that's why
That's
people
exactly
go missing.
what I was thinking when you said that. I might be a portal floating around.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree. It's just a theory of mine, though. But I might have been taken that day.
Oh, how long ago was this when you seen this blue orb going up next to a water tower?
Well, it was a half a mile away from the water tower, and it floated at an angle up over it and into the sky.
Mm-hmm.
But it was about, I've been away from there probably since early 2019, when the Colt 45 stuff came out, and
Okay.
I'm thinking it was then. I got replaced by a gate.
Oh, yeah, I remember you saying about that, talking about that. Yep.
Yeah, and ever since then, I've been shuffled around like a deck of cards, but at the spot I'm at now, I'm going to be there until the end of December. Thank God. It pays pretty good.
Well, that's good. Thank God.
Oh, yeah. Thank the Lord. But I got a couple more, if you want me to tell them.
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay. I was up the hill where I was supposed to be at the equipment. Well, a little bit of ways from it, but I was on top of the hill. And I don't know if I dozed off to sleep or not, but I didn't wake up. After it happened, I was awake. But all of a sudden, it was like maybe 20 yards in front of me, to the right, just a little bit. This dark, it looked like a Ford Taurus, like a 2000 model or something. The model they came out with, that didn't look like it had sunglasses on it, on the rear, on rear tail lights. And it's like two things got out. And they had a body like Taffy did on the Nintendo Play Fighters. You're familiar with that. It's kind of flexible, it looked like, except they was solid black. And it's like one of them morphed into a lady as it was coming around towards me. And it came around and reached in the window and gave me a good hug. She had blonde hair. She done thickened up and everything. She looked good. And
so
wait.
Let me get this straight. This thing that looked like a piece of, looked like a clay figure morphed into a woman. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I saw. I mean, I may have been dreaming, but I don't remember waking up. It was crazy. Okay. But
was she good looking at least?
What now?
I said, was this alien good looking at least when it morphed into a woman?
Yeah, it looked good. She looked good. I started to get out when she walked back over to the Taurus, and my feet will not lift off the floorboard. I mean, I could probably get them a half an inch or something to push them back down. It's like hands was on my feet. And I kept trying and struggling. I could not get out of that vehicle to save my life. And I looked down to see what was on my feet and pushing them down. And when I looked back up, they was gone. And I looked at my window. I was like, I thought it was rolled up. And I looked at it, it was rolled up. And I might have been taken that day if I investigated. I wanted to see what they was doing up there. And even though I'm married, I probably want to flirt a little bit, and I'll admit that to you. I'm a guy, and
Oh yeah.
But I don't remember waking up. I mean, I was awake, unless it was some sort of dream. It was weird though. I mean, the way it happened. But my wife reminded me of that one because I told her about it. And it's the one that I could have told Vault, but I had completely forgotten about it. And then another time, I was looking up at the clouds, and I seen something peeking out of a cloud. It's like the size of a gigantic space shuttle. I mean, it looked like a gigantic space shuttle, just like a fourth of it was poking out. It's the same color as the cloud, but it had good clear lines to it and everything. It's like it even had a window at the top. I guess I was seeing it at an angle. And I said, yeah, I see you watching me. I said, in the name of Jesus, get out of here. And it's like it ducked back in behind the cloud. I mean, it's like I was supposed to be taken by something and become a missing 411 out there is what I figured. There was another time that I was just sitting in the Jeep. It's summertime. I had the door open, and I was just deep in thought. I just kicked back in the seat, relaxed, and deep in thought. And I heard something whoosh over me, and it wasn't like a jet where you hear it even when it's going away. It's like something dived down at the Jeep and made a wind noise. And as soon as I heard it, it was gone. I got out and looked, nothing. I heard there was a bird out there from another guard that I heard there was a bird out there that was big enough to pick a child up and take him off. And
oh wow! I have been hearing so many reports of these gigantic birds with body lengths of about 6 to 7 feet long. We're talking about the creature that size?
It might have been. I never seen it, but at night when the moon was full, I see shadows of it that would come over me. Between the moon and me, like something big was flying in the air and stuff. And I never seen it though. I mean, I seen a big eagle out there, and I'd make chicken noises like chickens was running around and stuff, and I'd trick him with that, and he'd fly near the Jeep and stuff. I'd kind of mess with his head. Looked like a chicken hawk, but that's the biggest bird I actually seen out there besides that elusive one. But it just looked like there would be a lot of danger to somebody that was just out there walking. People walk out there, they ride solo out there, and the smart ones ride in groups and stuff, and it seems like the crazy ones that used to ride out there in their minds, they stay protected. And one guy, he'd tear up a vehicle once a week. He had the same name as me. And one time he hit a boulder with a Jeep and flipped it on its top. and then he's going to come back later if somebody done set it on fire and burn it up. And by the time somebody got to the top of the hill to scrap it, that thing was just about flat.
Wow.
Yeah, that dude's crazy. You know, he would cut donuts out there and stuff when not at the top of the hill, and just in a nice Chevrolet pickup, he tore that thing up. You know, and he actually slung a rock and busted my window out in the door. But seems like all the crazies are well protected. I haven't heard anybody go missing out there except, you know, 2 miners and a guard, you know, and I think I told you about that.
How long was the time frame? 2 miners and a guard were missing, and how long was the time frame?
I think this is what shut the mine down back in '99. You know, I told him, and then I started bitching it on his show, and he's ready to go, and so I don't think he wants to hear it, you know, and it sounds like a bunch of bull, but a friend Carol out there, she kept saying that, you know, a guard has gone missing in the past, and Russell Googled it, and he says like 4 hours on Google. He had to search deep.
Okay.
And sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I'm following along. Go ahead.
Okay. I tried and doing the search myself, and unless it was within a PFD, which I didn't want to click on, I couldn't find it. The article about that, but Russell talked to a miner that was there when it happened, and he said the police actually escort the miners off the property one by one. And what I've heard, the Jefferson County Police from the Concord Division out there, or they used to have one, the older officers was scared to come out there, but some younger ones started coming out there, and they talked to me and shoot the bull, and I'd lead them around, you know, and they'd follow me, and one wanted to know if it was good enough for him to bring his rock climbing Jeep out there. So the younger ones wasn't worried about it, but the older ones were scared. But my wife has premonitions, you know, she's Cherokee, she's Blackfoot, and she's Irish.
Oh yeah.
And that's a mean woman. That's a mean woman, and you get her mad, you know.
Well, I think all the other sides of the gender can be a little bit mad and scary sometimes. Especially hit that right tone of voice. You're like, uh-oh, what did I do?
Yeah, it's like, you know, they turn on you like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde personality, but especially the short ones. They're like little banty hens. You know how little banty hens can be mean. They're little, but man, they're power packed when they have to be and stuff, you know.
Oh yeah.
That's the way little women are, you know. I mean, they can be mean. But anyhow, she gets these premonitions, and usually it happens. I mean, before I married her in '97, she seen me wreck my truck, and a week before it happened, and she didn't tell me because she thought it was just a dream or something. She wasn't really knowing what was going on with her and stuff. But if you pray about it and take precautions, it don't happen. I mean, she even seen something white jump out at me from the bushes out there. They had like a double row of teeth, and it growled and jumped out at me. But we prayed about it, and it didn't happen. But it might have been that white thing that kept walking out in front of me. It done it 2 or 3 times. Size of St. Bernard with a long tail with a tuft of fur, like a ball on the end of it. And I never could see a head. It might have been hairy right there. And I never could see a head on it. And, you know, it's supposed to be a Wampus cat out there, people were saying. And maybe that was a Wampus cat, but sure strange looking. But anyway, dang, I forgot what I was going to tell you. Do you remember what I was leading up to?
You got off on Wampus cat, and I kind of lost the train of thought to what you were talking about before.
Oh, the mines. Yeah.
Mines.
My
Mines.
wife got the
Mines. Yep. Two are
my
missing.
wife got this premonition.
Yeah.
Back in '99, and I guess because I was going to work there, she got several premonitions from out there, but she seen what happened from the passenger seat of the guard's vehicle. He just left there, and they called him back. And for what she described, I think it was down there at the dry lake, what they call the dry lake. They drained it and all.
Mm-hmm.
It is weird down there. And she seen the guard come back, and the Dozer, D10 Dozer and the excavator had dug up this strange rock that was glowing. And I know it sounds crazy, and I don't know whether to believe it or not, but when I told her what Russell said, and she said that she had a premonition from there, and she had to remember it, and she laid down, and she started moaning and groaning. I didn't know whether to call 911 to her or just leave her alone, and she finally got it back, and she told me, about it, but the excavator operator actually touched that thing. The Dozer operator told him not to, and it sucked him in it. I know that's weird, but the caller, that called ahead of time, before me,
Mm-hmm.
That was a little strange too, but I just had a dip of tobacco on an empty stomach, and I was starting to get sick when he's going into details, kind of graphic, I was getting a little sick, but I was glad he quit talking about all that. But the guard got there, and it's like some creatures, and she don't know what color they was. It's just brownish or black looking.
Mm-hmm.
They come down each side of the hill, military style, and the guy in the Dozer, he got in, locked the door, and the guard couldn't get in. And he fired upon them, and they surrounded him, for what my wife said, and tore him up. She seen blood splatter on the Dozer blade, and the guy in the Dozer, it wouldn't crank. He finally got it cranked, and I guess he didn't know that he had it in
Gear.
Forward, and he hit the rock, and it disappeared. And that's all she knows. And Russell called me, and him and Carol they was out there drinking, and they got stuck down at the dry lake. And right in that area is where they found some bones of a feller, and you have radio interference down there. And he was hung on his frame, and his left front wheel was hanging off, and it looked like just a lid or something. It's straight edge, and it had dirt that washed away from the sides. It's black down in there. And it kind of reminded me of a roof at the top that goes on the vault of a grave, where they put the casket in it and put the top on it.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I got to thinking. I started Googling D10 Dozers. I started looking at the roofs. Them roofs. I took a Dozer class, and they done a video where a Dozer was rolling down the mountain, and the top held up, but it still killed the operator because he's seat belted in, and he was thrown around like a rag doll. And they have an overhang, and I've been wanting to go put a magnet on that thing just to see if that was it, but that might be the Dozer right there. I wouldn't understand why anything else would be buried there. But that's kind of strange, and people have been seeing red eyes down there, and some creature chased Carol off on a four-wheeler. She had to run from it, and then a group of dogs chased her. And there was supposed to be one guy that actually killed one of them big dogs out there. I think he, unless it's gone now, he had a taxidermy shop on 18th or 19th Street in Bessemer, and he's got it hung up there, from what I've been told. But all this is kind of crazy, what I'm telling you, and unless I can actually document that Dozer's buried.
So what's
she had a premonition of them lifting it up with a crane, and it had to be packed with mud underneath,
So what is the significance of finding a Dozer that's buried? Is there a dead body there, or a dead carcass or something, or what?
I bet there is. I bet the operator's still in it. It would prove kind of, sort of, I would think it would prove her premonition and stuff, and even though it's crazy, it would give me some verification that she's good, but I don't know for sure, she's had other premonitions out there where a guy and girl was going to, do what married couples do out there, and somehow or another Bigfoot got the guy and threw him away from the vehicle, and that's all she saw. When I got my gun stolen, she seen somebody walking away from the Jeep, and she warned me about that. And a 44 Magnum got stolen, but I got it back. I had to get crafty on Facebook, but when I did, I got it back the same day.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. Holy smokes. So you're, it sounds like more or less you already are convinced and you don't need any more validation that your wife can foresee the future.
Well, she's been pretty accurate, but that story there is kind of wild, along with them stories I see with my own eyes out there. It's just a lot of strangeness out there. There's a guy named Tyler that said he walked by. He didn't walk by. He had a new four-wheeler, and he drove by what he thought was a strange-looking tree. It was black at night, and all of a sudden that thing started chasing him. It looked like a bear chasing him. Mm-hmm. And he got away from it. He got in one of them Honda, it's 2007 Honda CRF 250s, and my brother-in-law's got a newer one, and if you're not careful about letting out on the clutch, and give it the gas just right, that thing will shoot straight up out from under you and almost fall back on you.
Right.
And his was 2007 model, so it wasn't quite as bad, but I told him, man, what you need to do is step off of that thing, take your hat off, and take a bow at it and say, sir, because that thing will hurt you. And it would boogity, but he wound up hurting his right arm and having to have surgery on it. And he told me he'd sell it to me real cheap, but at the time I didn't have the money. But I kind of wanted to get that thing, but shape I'm in, I really don't need to be thrown from a motorcycle.
Right.
I've actually hit a dog on an XR80 when I was a teenager, and a little wiener dog, and I went over the handlebars, and that hurt. I hit the pavement doing about 35, 40, and I had to force through the pain and make myself get up because it was still running on its side, and oil was coming out the side of it. And so I had to shut it off or it would run the engine. But no, it's no fun to get thrown from a motorcycle. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
She had another premonition from out there, but I can't. I'm having trouble remembering it. I know she called me one night and said that she had a premonition of something like it was creeping. It was black and it was creeping on its belly near the Jeep. And I prayed and nothing ever happened, but when you have to step out to use the bathroom, you kind of get creeped out. I never do that in the spot I was sitting. I would always drive on down. The road in was about a mile or so, and I would, use the bathroom there. And so I try to be careful, and I'd hear stuff out there like, a vibrating whistle, like, but it was kind of strange. And I never knew what that was. And my wife actually stayed out there with me one night, part time anyway, and she actually heard it. But it's several different critters, and I don't know what it is. But that was pretty sound they made.
Yeah.
But I kind of wondered they was trying to draw me in or something. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like you've been I wouldn't say romance. You've been coerced or possibly lured, been lured by a will-o-wisp, and now some wild, interesting sounds from out in the wild. So, sounds like somebody wants to get a hold of your attention.
Yeah. One time, I was out there cutting up, and how on the movie Man Called Nobody tells the story about the birdie, it goes beep beep like that, and I was doing that. I heard something start whistling down the hill, and it was coming towards me, and I got on up the hill. It kind of scared me. It was right at dusk, the sun hadn't completely gone down yet. It was still a little bit of light, and I got on up the hill, but it was scary out there. But hey, you gotta live till you die is my philosophy, and I need the money, and I liked it out there. It was good and private. Only thing is, I try to get more days somewhere else because there's only 3 nights a week, from 2:30 in the afternoon to 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
and I'd be late for my own funeral. I'd get there late, I'd stay late, and they was okay with that. They appreciated me. I gave them a full 12 hours, even if I was a half hour late, 45 minutes late, I'd stay over. They really needed somebody to stay over because people were still out there in the mines when I left, but not at the equipment. But like a certain feller, the one that stole my gun, if he got stuck out there, he'd just go up there and grab the loader, the 4-wheel drive loader. It pivots in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
He'd get it and go pull his stuff home and then return it and stuff. And, that gate ain't going to help. If they really need a camera like, y'all got out there at Vault's place,
oh yeah,
and they need a guard, and they need a gate.
They need all the above.
That
Yeah, that's crazy. I said, yeah, they need all the above. Sounds like it.
Yeah, they yanked gates down before, and they'll do it again.
I don't think Bigfoot or anything of that nature cares for a gate. If it's in its way, it will either jump it, mow it down, or just walk right through it.
Oh yeah, but you can get around it. Not in a vehicle. That's what they was trying to do, deter people from going up there and stealing stuff. After I left one time, somebody stole. I think they stole the whole trailer that held diesel fuel, and stole a couple of batteries off the equipment and all that. I mean, it's like, they was just waiting for me to leave. And I mean, when I'm off duty, I can't do nothing. I'm going home,
Hey, you try to save a dime, and then when you try to save a dime, it costs you.
Yeah, it's true. When the Colt 45 stuff came out, they wanted to cut back, and that's why they put the gate up,
Right.
But that fella's in another state now. If he was still around there, they'd be having some trouble. But he's out of state. I mean, he done shot somebody else out there. You can look it up. I don't need to say his name, but he actually shot his best friend that got to mess around with his wife there, and he shot him with his own gun and then claimed self-defense. But I think he shot somebody with my gun before I got it back. It has some dents and dings in it, like when I whirled the hickey you put the shells in, it would hit, and I found it had a nick on it, and I filed that off and cleaned it up real good, and that thing was better than it was when I had it now. But
That's cool.
I just quit carrying it with me. She had a premonition after I got it back about him coming up beside me real fast, and tell me to get out of the vehicle. She wasn't sure it was him or not, but I started, hiding when I was down near the road, the main road, Mud Creek Road, and you could hear him in his daddy's Ford pickup. Well, it was his daddy's, but you could hear him cutting in there and spinning and all that. And so I think she might have been right. He was kind of looking for me to see if I actually, got the gun back, because I got it back from his brother. It was buried in a shoebox wrapped in a bandana. And I heard that a feller actually got his face blowed off with a 44 Magnum, which is what Carol told me. And that it might have been a friendly drug dealer that would make a deal on up the road, and then he'd take off. He had a Mustang GT. He'd honk at me, so I called him a friendly drug dealer. And I never did see him anymore, so he might have been the one that got killed. But I'm not going to force her.
Oh, yeah.
And her daughter,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Keep on.
I'm not going to force her and her daughter, to testify. They don't want to do it. And but they testified, they ran ballistics on that gun. With them seeing him with it, they definitely could get him for that. At least I think they can. But you just gotta be careful when you got a gun in a vehicle. You can't be trusting, around even country folks. I'm like, I ain't in, I'm not in the city, around a bunch of thugs and stuff. I'm not downing people. I'm just saying, these are country folks. These good, salted earth people. I was thinking, and I actually got out of the Jeep, socializing with them, and left that thing out in the open. And I'm blind, and I've done some stupid things. Vault says he's done a lot of stupid things. I don't think I could ever outdo him on anything, but being stupid, I could outdo him on that.
I don't know. I've got a doctorate in stupid, so I'm gonna give you a run for the money on who's got the award for being the most stupid. I'll probably win that one.
You got a doctor for being a doctorate stupid?
Yeah, I got a doctorate in stupid.
Oh, so, you got a doctorate. I thought you said doctor.
Yeah, I've got a doctorate in stupid. I could probably out stupid a lot of people. So, I found out a long time ago that I'm never too old to do something stupid. So, that's just the nature of me.
Well, I found that out too, but I was stupider when I was a teenager. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm here, except God watches over idiots and fools and stuff, you know, because I guess he knows in the future they're going to get right with him. But it seemed like it's something else my wife had a premonition about out there, but I can't remember it. But I guess I've been, you know, on the air, you know, long enough. Have anybody else tried to call in yet?
No, not in the last little bit, but I'm knocking on the 3-hour door here, been on here, so I'm gonna have to probably cut this one a little bit short so I can hop over and do. I think Dark Woods sent in a weird owl screech. I want to get to and try to play that and see what that's all about.
I don't blame you. I'm interested in them big owls. That's another thing I want to tell you real quick. I've heard a lot of owl calls out there. And, you know, a hoot owl, correct me if I'm wrong, a hoot owl is like, I'm going to make this noise now, okay? Woo, 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 woo. Real deep, bassy, loud.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been hearing something out there. It's like, woo, 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 woo. You know, real light. Like, right. You know, you ever heard that?
The best I've ever heard, you know, that I thought was owls, there was this place called Georgia's Fork, and, you know, my dad would take us out there and do catfishing out there at night. And he taught us how to do the hoot owl call with our hands, you know, do the whistle with your hands kind of thing. And I was able to do that and get him to call back. But, yeah, I've heard several owls in my life.
I just wondered. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I thought one, it could be a female. I'm kind of choked up. I couldn't quite do the hoot owl call like I wanted to. You know, it kind of vibrates towards the end. You know, and you know what I'm talking about. You know,
yeah.
Like that. It seems like I've heard him do that. But there's another one I heard often out there, and it was like it'd go do 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 do. It would make that certain call, and you'd hear another one on down the hill make the same call. And I don't know what that was, but I figured that might have been Bigfoot mimicking an owl. And I know when they was riding out there hot and heavy one time in them razors, I heard like an angry whoo-ah! Like that. Yeah, it's like, you know, Bigfoot made that, and he's mad.
Yeah, I heard.
I heard it.
When people started calling in, like maybe 6 months ago, and really started talking about this owl, big cryptid owl with a 6-7 foot body, I was out on my back porch and it was still warm. It was just had crossed over to being warm instead of cold at night. And I heard the strangest owl sound. I was like, what the hell was that? Was that a drunk owl? On my back porch. So I don't know. Who knows?
Might have got into Moonshiner's mesh out there if anybody's still running shine out there, you know.
Oh, I dare say there's still plenty of moonshiners out there. The last time it's been about 6-7 years since I talked to someone I absolutely knew that was running shine. And that was hot and heavy and still a healthy industry. So, yeah.
There's a lot of woods out there for that to be going on. I kind of think of Ball and Paul Kettle, that movie where the farm animals got in the moonshiner's mesh, and that was a trip. You ever watch Ball and Paul Kettle?
Maybe once when I was a little kid.
Yeah, that's a trip right there. We got several of them movies. That's kind of funny right there. It makes you burst out laughing.
Yeah, that Sergeant York. You remember that Alvin York movie they did back in the early '60s? Alvin York, Sergeant York. Anyway,
I don't remember that.
I'll go look up Sergeant York. He's a famous Tennessean, and he's got a lot of universities and lands, and anything west of Nashville pretty much has Alvin York all over it. So there you go. Well, Mike, I'm going to have to hop off here. I'm going to try to tackle this one recording that Dark Wood sent in. But I appreciate you telling us all these interesting tales.
I appreciate you letting me.
All right, brother. You take it easy and call in anytime.
Thank you, man. You have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Now, that was interesting. Mike from Alabama and all his cryptid tales and his future predicting wife. Can you top that? I don't know. Anyway, Darkwood sent in an email with a particular recording. Hold on just a second. Let me pop this up. Where did it go? Right there it is. I haven't heard it yet, but let's take a listen to it. Shall we? Here we go. We'll have to bump this up. Let me do this one more time. Start it over. I've got this 300% above normal. That's at 400%. Let's listen to that one more time. I can hear a lot of background noise and vocalizations, but I can't really pick it out. I've got it at 400% above normal on the volume. Darkwoods, where did you record this? Or where did this recording come from? Let me turn this down before something else happens. I don't want to listen to something pop up on that particular audio string at 400% and blow my eardrums out. But yeah, that's got some interesting owls, it sound like, and something else back there. But yeah, there you go. Hey, Gypsy Road, what's going on, Eric? Bigfoot Anonymous? To the folks that just popped in that, joined me at the last minute, we have, with the Darkwaters family of shows, we have a thing starting today, December 1st, which, right now it's about ready to click over to December 2nd. But December 1st, we've got a Cryptid Christmas. 7 shows in the family of Darkwaters family of shows is running a contest. And you'll have to bear with me just a second. Let me pull these instructions, these rules off so I can get, here we go. Let's see. Starting December 1st, which was today, any video by said channel, which I'll name off the channels here in a little bit, with the title of Cryptid Christmas. Subscribers must be subscribed, like, and leave a comment. So after this show, we'll make sure you leave a comment. And, just put Cryptid Christmas or whatever in it, just to make sure that we know which one is which, that kind of deal. Leave a comment. We will choose 7 winners total from each channel on December 11th from those comments left on each video titled A Cryptid Christmas. 2 of those winners will win a cup. 5 of those winners will win one of the 5 free 1 month subscriptions to Dogmancams.com. So if you're a current subscriber, you will get the following month free if you do win this. So just to give you a heads up there, the drawing will be held on December 11th, with winners announced on December 12th, and only 1 winner per this contest. So if you are drawn twice, one on one channel, one on the other, You can that will go back in the till and be redrawn, but you can only win one prize out of this whole contest. So if two channels are drawn the same name, one of the channels must draw again. All winners will be added to a total list so that Darkwaters can announce them on his channel for the results on December 12th. And here you go. Make this list. Now, if you're just listening or are currently listening live, everything I'm about ready to describe to you in the family of shows that you need to subscribe and like and make comments on the on a Cryptid Christmas giveaway. The following channels: Darkwaters, The Vol Nightmares, my channel, Sean G, Chasing the Truth, Dogmancams with DDoS, The Lakea Show, Chaos Theory Productions, An Impromptu Truth, and finally, Thaddeus Cray's channel. You got to be subscribed to all 7 of those channels to be in this contest, and like, share, and subscribe, and make a comment in each one of those said videos with a Cryptid Christmas in the title. So any other questions, and please look at the description of this and all the other Cryptid Christmas videos that are going to be put out by the before mentioned channels in the Darkwaters family of radio and podcasters. So, can I cheat and just win? Gypsy wrote, I don't know. No, I don't think there's a way to cheat with this one, but pay me $100, I'll give you a cup. There, you can do that. How's that? Starting December 2nd, if you go to my merch store, which I think Marquita is popping this Teespring stuff in there, if you use Holiday 15, Holiday in all caps 15, that code will get you 15% off of everything in that merch store. Not only on my channel or on my merchandise part of Teespring, but everything. You know, you go to other channels like the Vol Nightmares, you can run over there and put in Holiday 15, and you get his merchandise off 15% for December 2nd only. Holiday 15. But that's how that goes. And Dark Woods, thank you for that interesting audio. I'm not exactly sure. I wish I had something to actually do a spectrum analysis on this audio stuff that comes in every once in a while with me. And other channels. Maybe that may be something that we'll have to look into as we're doing all this research with, hey, thanks, Pine Island Research, Jeff. Yeah, go over there and subscribe to Pine Island Research. If you look in my community tab, I've got his channel listed in my community on the Chase the Tree Sean G. You can click on that and subscribe to Pine Island Research. He's looking at research, really true research. You know, just not the stories, not having people call in. He's actually looking at true research for these cryptids, these Bigfoot. So I'm on the edge just waiting to see what the first show is about. There you go. Rexand, appreciate it. Yeah, spectrograph. Yeah, I need to get a spectrograph to do an analysis and, you know, do a crash course on what a spectrograph looks like. Shouldn't be that hard since I can read EEG, sleep EEG and wake EEG, so it shouldn't be that hard to teach myself what spectrography can do. But yeah, that's interesting to say the least. Yeah, thanks for dropping that in there, Gypsy. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate that. Anyway, folks, I appreciate everyone that's popped in tonight. Let's see, we had 3, 4 callers tonight. And holy cow, I don't know which one was the favorite, but I'd hate to do this, but I like Jimmy from Ireland, Keith and Jimmy from Ireland. It may be that their accent just bedazzled me a little bit, if that is a word that you can use for that. But yeah, I really like that story. Thanks, Keith, for having your pop on for the 40-some minutes and telling about the Pookas, that was an interesting story for sure. Thank you, Jeff, for being a part of the show. You know, I love and enjoy listening to you talk about how you do research, and you've opened my eyes on a few things. So I look forward to being taught by you, just listening to you. So I appreciate that greatly. Well, folks, if you can, run over to dogmancams.com, subscribe over there for less than a pack of smokes a month. You can be a part of a cutting-edge, never-before-done research project where they're actually going to, got one cam up and running now down in the backyard of Lakea and the Vault of Nightmares, Vault 1. I think he's going to put up one or two more cameras, and then a whole healthy spectrum of cameras will soon be installed. I don't know exactly which states, but stay tuned to DDoS over on Dogmancams. I'm sure he'll let you know, and I'll let you know as soon as I know. Please forgive me for not popping up the Dogmancams tonight. We just had a lot of callers. Couldn't take away from the callers to throw up a Dogmancams tonight, but there you go. Thank you, Razor Wolf. Appreciate that. And I am darkwaters.com. Please subscribe to my channel. And like I said, the Cryptid Christmas contest is in full-fledged glory. If you want to win a free month of Dogmancam subscription or I think either a mug or coffee cup or some sort of drink container, you've got 7 shows to subscribe to. Go down in the description of my show and like, share, and subscribe and comment on the show. Not just in the chat that we're doing currently with the live chat. You got to comment in the show itself. So, good luck. Hopefully the winners off my show will be happy about it. I'm sure I will be happy about it. It'd be grand to do that. And just to give away some merchandise. Give you something to say thank you for being part of the Darkwaters family, chasing the truth, the truther line of people that love to hear this type of show and this call-in stuff. But Chica, Marquita, Razor, Claire, Gypsy Road, Jeff from Pine Island Research. Yeah, definitely go over there and subscribe to him. Marquita, let's see who else is in here. Dark Woods, Rex. Let's see, James or Jack, aka Jack. The wig of Andy Warhol. And that wig just keeps getting uglier every time I see it. Jummy Harrison. That's an interesting name. Let's see who else is in here. Let me run. Bigfoot Anonymous. What's going on, brother? Red Raider. I think that's about all I can see that has been chatting the last few minutes. But like I do always to end every show, I say a prayer. Dear God in heaven, thank you for today. Thank you for this show. Thank you for everyone that has called in and the blessings of their gifts of telling us their truths. Dear God, please bless those folks. Bless them, keep them safe from everything that is evil, demonic, out for the ruin of the souls of man, extraterrestrial, interdimensional, extra-dimensional, indifferent to us, have some sort of malice toward us. Please protect us from them and those powers that I just before mentioned. I plead the blood of Jesus Christ on everyone. Please send your angels of mercy to those that are in need of your healing hand. Keep us all safe and prosperous. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen. Folks, I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to reach out to me, Sean.G at IamDarkWaters.com is my email. The number 931-994-6917 does work after hours. But please not in the middle of the night. 3 o'clock in the morning, I probably won't answer the phone. But, yeah, definitely. Please, if you want to reach out and tell me a story that you don't want to talk about over the air, you can certainly do that. But, yeah, definitely go over to Jeff's new channel. Hold on just a second. Make sure I got the channel name right before I get it. I think Gypsy Road has dumped his link there. Pine Island Research. Please go over and look at that. Like, share, and subscribe that one out. I'm sure a lot of good's going to come out of that. Some crazy, interesting details. Hopefully he won't get visited by Men in Black or some of the ABC companies. Come over and say, hey, Jeff, you don't need to be dropping this stuff or lose all of a sudden all the research. But I think he's got a lot of good thought behind this, thought processes, and all the people that he has partnered up with to do all this research. But wow, folks, this has been a fantastic show. I may be doing a couple other shows besides the Saturday show. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. But stay tuned. You might see an impromptu live stream from me here and there, like I did in the last few days. I've done a few. I may take just totally tomorrow off because I've been on either on one of my shows or talked on somebody else's show, like Jim Mallard, or on a Mogollon Monsters show. Probably just take a day off tomorrow, I think. Sleep in, do something other than talk to you guys. Crazy. But yeah, definitely go over to Dogmancams and look down in the description, folks. If you want to be a winner of a Cryptid Christmas 1 month free subscription, or a mug or drinking container, whatever Darkwaters winds up giving away for that, there are going to be several winners per channel. 7 channels. Go down in the description, look at that, and look at the rules. And good luck, folks. God bless you. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas. I kind of stray from saying happy holidays, but, happy holidays. God bless y'all. Thank you for blessing me and calling in and let me know that, hey, you actually want to call in and talk on this whole show I've got. But God bless y'all. And actually, I picked a new piece of music. Outro music. Hold on just a second. Let me pop this up. It's called Holiday 1985, and it's got a heavy guitar in it from 1985, but it's got a Christmas theme to it. But here you go. But I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.